The Primal Chaos War Spear asked. Right here. Lin Jiufeng pointed at the ground beneath his feet. Bury them here? Isn't this a little too hasty? Black Skeleton asked, stunned. The mountains of the world are all the same. We can just be buried at the spot we died. There's no need to find specific places to bury our bones. This place will do, Lin Jiufeng said firmly. Well said. When a person dies, nothing matters anymore. With just a straw mat, we can be buried anywhere. White Skeleton nodded. Then, it quickly dug a pit. Boom! With a punch, a deep pit was directly created. Then, they took out all the corpses that they had kept in the spell realm and buried them one by one. During this period, Lin Jiufeng cut down hundreds of trees, cut the trees into tombstones, and inserted a piece into each tomb. He didn't write their names, nor did he know who these people were or where they came from. But this didn't stop Lin Jiufeng from being filled with respect for them. Finally, when all the corpses were buried here, Lin Jiufeng looked at the stretch of the cemetery. He took out a pot of wine and poured it on the ground. Seniors, although we have never met before, as juniors of the mortal realm, we are still grateful to you for your protection of the mortal realm. Lin Jiufeng bowed deeply. Behind him, Black Skeleton and White Skeleton also bowed. The three divine weapons watched silently. It can be considered that they have returned to their roots and returned to the mortal realm. Next, we will have to face the 7 races of the ancient age head-on. Black Skeleton sighed after paying its respects. Even with the addition of the immortal Emperor-level weapons from the Weapon Armory Valley, it seems that our strength isn't enough, White Skeleton said worriedly. It's okay. Go inform the powerhouses of the mortal realm now and tell them that a great battle is about to happen. Black Tortoise, I want to ask you to inform the weapons that came out of the Weapon Armory Valley that the mortal realm needs you guys for this battle. Lin Jiufeng instructed the 2 skeletons. All right. I will inform them. Black Tortoise nodded. For Black Tortoise, the 3 of them were also enemies of the 7 races of the ancient ages after they went with Lin Jiufeng to create trouble in the spell realm. Even if it tried explaining to the 7 races of the ancient age now, the 7 races of the ancient age also wouldn't let them off. Hence, there was only one path now, and that was to resist. Go. Time is pressing. Lin Jiufeng looked up at the unstable state of the spell realm and said solemnly. Immortal Emperor Lin, what are you going to do? This time, the skeletons asked curiously. I will go and inform Emperor De of the Unrivalled God Dynasty to try his best to move the common people of the mortal realm away. After Lin Jiufeng finished speaking, he didn't hesitate. He reached out and drew a line, opening the space. With a step, he entered the new imperial capital of the Unrivalled God Dynasty. At this moment, the imperial capital of the Unrivalled God Dynasty was completely cordoned off. It wasn't just Lin Jiufeng who could feel the instability of the spell realm. As long as one reached the immortal realm or above, one could feel a huge pressure in the sky. It suppressed them until they found it difficult to breathe, as if a great danger was coming. Emperor De had long known about this, so he completely cordoned off the imperial capital of the Unrivalled God Dynasty. At the same time, he sent word to the entire world, requesting the various government officials and the forces of the martial temple to be on guard. In the imperial capital, Emperor De, who had aged slightly, looked at the sky. He felt this pressure and was very serious. A storm is coming. Emperor De sighed. Immediately issue a decree to move the common people out. At the same time, bring the last of the fire seeds of the mortal realm and hide them. Don't gather them together. Also, you have to bring most of the books in the world away and hide them to preserve the fire seeds of civilization and wait for the future. Lin Jiufeng appeared behind Emperor De and said quickly. Emperor De turned around and looked at Lin Jiufeng in surprise. Big granduncle, you're still alive? Back then, when Lin Jiufeng set up a huge array in the old imperial capital to trap and kill hundreds of immortal kings, the people of the world thought that he had already died. Even Emperor De thought so. Even though there was some news of Lin Jiufeng later on, no one could be sure until they saw him in person. Now that he saw it with his own eyes and confirmed that Lin Jiufeng wasn't dead, he was indescribably happy. This was his big granduncle, the guardian of the Unrivalled God Dynasty. Have you remembered everything that I told you just now? Lin Jiufeng said to Emperor De with a serious expression. He wasn't in the mood to reminisce. Ever since I learned about the matter of the 7 races of the ancient age, I have been making preparations. Even if the mortal realm was wiped out in the end, I had still hidden the fire of our civilization everywhere, Emperor De said firmly. He had long set up these backup plans. After experiencing the trials and tribulations, after so many years, Emperor De had also grown up. He was the great emperor of the new era. Although he didn't have the pioneering thoughts of his father and grandfather, as a monarch who guarded their success and bloomed a new flower in the old order, he could be considered a wise ruler. You have done well. Leave this imperial capital with your people now. The upcoming war will instantly destroy the prosperity of the mortal realm. The new imperial capital of the Unrivalled God Dynasty will be the first to bear the brunt of the attack. It can't be defended at all. Lin Jiufeng looked at Emperor De in satisfaction and said, Even big granduncle can't protect it? Emperor De clenched his fists and asked with difficulty. It's very difficult. It's really difficult. Lin Jiufeng said solemnly. He never denied that he was a genius, nor did he deny that he had the ability to sign in. Along the way, he had killed countless enemies. Crossing realms to kill enemies was a common thing for him. Even now, although he was at the 5th step of the immortal emperor realm, he still dared to fight against a king lord. Lin Jiufeng never lacked confidence. From the fact that he dared to kill hundreds of immortal kings alone when he was only at the immortal realm back then, this could be seen. But this time, he couldn't see any hope at all. Hence, he came to inform Emperor De to hide as much as possible. Big granduncle, Emperor De was so surprised that he couldn't speak. Even the omnipotent big granduncle in his heart couldn't deal with this catastrophe. Was there still hope in this world? Don't dawdle anymore. Hurry up and take action. Take the last fire seed of the mortal realm with you and hide. Hide in the land of extreme cold and other such places. Don't be in the center of the war. It will instantly devour all of you. Lin Jiufeng urged Emperor De. Then, he left the new imperial capital of the Unrivalled God Dynasty. Emperor De watched as Lin Jiufeng left. His face sank as he immediately gave the order without hesitation. Big granduncle, I hope you can save this world. Emperor De prayed in his heart. After informing Emperor Lude, Lin Jiufeng once again returned to the place where countless seniors had been buried in the mortal realm. The once green mountains and waters had suddenly become a cemetery. Nameless tombs revealed a desolate feeling. Each tomb hid a peerless genius who once lived in the mortal realm. This time, they would be sleeping here forever. Lin Jiufeng stood in front of the cemetery and stared at them, feeling the killing intent in the air and the huge pressure from the spell realm. He lifted his clothes and knelt in front of these human race seniors. Seniors, the calamity of the mortal realm has descended. I can only disturb your tranquility and wake you up from the ancient era to come and fight, Lin Jiufeng said apologetically. Yes, he knew the power of the 7 races of the ancient age very well, so when he saw the corpses of these human race seniors, he had a crazy idea. He wanted to bring back these former war souls and return to this era to fight again. This was a crazy idea. Many people were unable to do so. Because these seniors had really died in battle. Their corpses had no temperature, and their souls had long disappeared from the world. It was only because of their once invincible cultivation bases that their bodies didn't decay that they could be used by the 7 races of the ancient age. Lin Jiufeng defeated the 7 races of the ancient age and destroyed their plan to bring the corpses of these seniors back to the mortal realm. But he also wanted to do the same thing as the 7 races of the ancient age. He wanted to bring the war souls of these seniors who had once fought bloody battles for the mortal realm back to this era. Unlike the 7 races of the ancient age who wanted these seniors to kill their own people. Lin Jiufeng wanted these war souls who had shed their blood for the mortal realm to protect the mortal realm once again. But no matter what, he would still be disturbing these tired seniors. Hence, Lin Jiufeng knelt down and respectfully kowtowed to these former war souls. Even if they didn't know each other, even if they didn't live in the same era, their ideals for the mortal realm were unanimous. Boom! Just as Lin Jiufeng was kowtowing, the sky suddenly trembled. Like glass, it was suddenly shattered. Then, a great Dao stretched out from the distant spell realm and directly landed in the sky of the mortal realm. Then, a magnificent army charged over. At this moment, the entire mortal realm was shocked. The huge lineup pulled the ancient war chariot, producing a huge rumbling sound. They trampled the starry sky, bringing with them the supreme aura of the 7 races of the ancient age as they surged over. The white horse stepped on the starry sky and spread its wings. On it was a warrior of the 7 races of the ancient age. He held a spear in his hand and his eyes were cold as he charged over. Rumble! Rumble! An extremely terrifying roar, an extremely terrifying aura, and the 7 races of the ancient age came together. Just as Black Skeleton had said, the 7 races of the ancient age had come together. They wanted to end this era, they wanted to slaughter the mortal realm. King Lord Great Destruction of the 7 races of the ancient age has descended. King Lord Ancestral Peak of the 7 races of the ancient age has descended. King Lord Outer Heaven of the 7 races of the ancient age has descended. A loud sound shook the entire mortal realm. Accompanied by an extremely terrifying aura, the 3 King Lords arrived together. They directly crossed the barrier between the spell realm and the mortal realm. They didn't walk in the starry sky, but their true bodies directly descended into the mortal realm from the spell realm. That terrifying aura directly shocked the immortal kings and immortal emperors in the mortal realm. Previously, the people in the mortal realm thought that the immortal king realm was the peak. Then, the 4 city lords from the death realm appeared. They had reached the immortal emperor realm. Even now, the top combat power in the mortal realm was still at the immortal emperor realm. Previously, everyone thought that the 7 races of the ancient age would send immortal emperors to destroy the mortal realm. But now, the arrival of the 3 king lords directly crushed the immortal emperors. A brand new era arrived. The king lords. Moreover, it wasn't just 1, but 3. The 7 races of the ancient age directly displayed the fundamental reason why they had always been able to sweep through the mortal realm. Nothing else. They were just more powerful, that's all. At this moment, the divine might displayed in the world was vast and mighty. Every king lord that descended would have a soul-shocking voice that spread throughout the mortal realm, striking the hearts of every cultivator and commoner. It was just a notification. This kind of high profile was the unique confidence of the 7 races of the ancient age. It was based on the victory of every era. Such a proclamation meant that they would end this era. At this moment, the mortal realm trembled. The 4 directions trembled, and billions of living beings trembled. Following the arrival of the 3 king lords, the powerhouses of the mortal realm all felt how insignificant they were. Even those at the immortal emperor realm could feel the huge gap between them and the king lord realm at this moment. The mortal realm is really weak. It actually only has the support of a few immortal emperors. Great Destruction, you woke us up to descend into the mortal realm together. You really gave this era too much face. King Lord Ancestral Peak scanned the mortal realm with his spiritual consciousness and said disdainfully. There's indeed not much potential in this era. The cultivation techniques that they cultivate are still the path from the immortal court. They haven't developed their own direction, so they aren't worth mentioning. King Lord Outer Heaven frowned and said. This mortal realm doesn't look like much, but the waters are very deep. Don't be careless. King Lord Great Destruction snorted coldly. He immediately accurately captured Lin Jiufeng's location. But he didn't go over immediately. Instead, he watched coldly as Lin Jiufeng stood in front of a pile of tombs. The other people of the 7 races of the ancient age charged over. The immortal kings of the mortal realm also retaliated angrily in despair. For a time, war broke out everywhere. Smoke filled the air, and the aftershocks of the battle directly caused the originally happy and blissful world to become filled with sorrow. The 3 king lords of the 7 races of the ancient age watched coldly from the side. And in front of the many tombstones, Lin Jiufeng executed a powerful cultivation technique that he had signed in long ago. Fate-changing technique. Chapter 442, Emperor Yuan and Emperor Ming Lin Jiufeng had obtained the fate-changing technique a long time ago, but he never had a chance to use it. Back then, when Emperor Yuan and Emperor Ming died, Lin Jiufeng wanted to use the fate-changing technique to save them. But later on, Lin Jiufeng discovered that there was a huge secret hidden in the two of them, so he hadn't used the fate-changing technique even once. This was a heaven-defying cultivation technique. It could revive the dead. This violated the principles of human relations and the rules of the operation of the world. More importantly, the fate-changing technique essentially broke the inherent concept of the 6 paths of reincarnation. Just like how the powerhouses of the 7 races of the ancient age in the spell realm felt when they heard of the existence of the death realm. They found it incredible. This was an incredible cultivation technique that Lin Jiufeng had never used before. Now, the mortal realm had encountered a catastrophe. The 7 races of the ancient age came out in full strength. A few King Lord realms descended, announcing the end of the mortal realm. Hence, Lin Jiufeng thought of the fate-changing technique. He looked at the tombs piled up on the hill in front of him. Each of them was a genius cultivator who had once shed his blood for the mortal realm. Now, Lin Jiufeng had no choice but to disturb them. Boom! 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 As the fate-changing technique was executed, Lin Jiufeng tried his best to expand it. In an instant, a void door appeared in this world. Lin Jiufeng immediately knew the name of this door. The Door of Guidance. The Door of Guidance was opened by the fate-changing technique. In an instant, a majestic light of life cut through the sky and directly struck the vast sky. It suddenly exploded, and endless energy scattered down. These energies were the power of life. Then, an incomparably powerful aura that was vast and mighty spread along the passageway of the Door of Guidance. It was too powerful. This vast energy was unimaginable. The powerful aura exceeded that of any powerhouse that Lin Jiufeng had encountered in the past, including the king lords of the 7 races of the ancient age. But these huge energies didn't hurt Lin Jiufeng. They descended and formed huge energy fluctuations. Among these fluctuations, Lin Jiufeng felt complicated emotions. The bleakness and the vast expanse returned to the sky. Lin Jiufeng heard someone sighing. In the future, the mortal realm is still encountering this great catastrophe. Back then, I killed the 7 races of the ancient age until they trembled in fear. Today, I will return again. Someone is calling me. The mortal realm needs me. An ancient god is crossing over. After sleeping for tens of thousands of years, I thought that I wouldn't be able to return. I didn't expect that I could compete with the 7 races of the ancient age again. Ha ha ha, me, the light martial sage, is back. At this moment, countless voices sounded. Excitement, happiness, domineeringness, madness, and so on. But without exception, they were all enemies of the 7 races of the ancient age. This change directly made the 3 king lords of the 7 races of the ancient age look over. The former war souls have returned? Great Destruction frowned. They are just a group of losers. Outer Heaven watched coldly, his words disdainful. It's that human. He's awakening the former war souls. He's guiding the spiritual consciousness of the former powerhouses of the mortal realm to descend. Then, he will let these dead bodies fuse with the former war souls to revive and save the mortal realm. Ancestral Peak saw through Lin Jiufeng's plan at a glance. Just a death struggle. Outer Heaven had a disdainful look in his eyes. He didn't take these former defeated opponents seriously at all. The idea of awakening the former war souls to save this mortal realm is very beautiful, but the reality is very cruel. Great Destruction snorted coldly and stretched out his hand. His strongest weapon, the Great Destruction War Spear, appeared in his hand. Then, he directly threw it forward. With a bang, the Great Destruction War Spear shuttled through space and appeared in front of Lin Jiufeng, carrying the aura of destroying the world. Lin Jiufeng frowned. His fate-changing technique couldn't be disturbed at this critical moment. Hence, a magic treasure that had been silent for a long time jumped out of his body. Light of the Homes. A leisurely candle flame blocked Lin Jiufeng's back. The weak light was inconspicuous between heaven and earth, but the endless killing intent that burst out of the Great Destruction War Spear was completely blocked by the weak light of the homes. Clang! The light of the homes trembled slightly. The flames that burst out from inside covered the sky, forming a painting of the mortal realm. This painting of the mortal realm seemed ethereal and rootless. But in the very next moment, it blocked the surging power of the Great Destruction War Spear. Unknowingly, the speed at which the light of the homes grew was even more terrifying than Lin Jiufeng's. It could already resist a magic treasure at the level of the Great Destruction War Spear head-on. It bought Lin Jiufeng some time. This short period of time that it bought was very precious. Because of this, Lin Jiufeng completely executed the fate-changing technique. Rumble. In the sky, various ancient war souls constantly appeared in the door of guidance. They weren't people of this era. They were in the past era, in the spacetime they were in. They were only guided to this era by Lin Jiufeng. Then, these ancient war souls understood the situation. They looked at the nameless tombs buried on the ground. It turns out that I've already died in battle. If I die, it means that our era has failed. After the 7 races of the ancient age wiped out our era, they began to make a move on this era again? As expected, no matter how hard we work, we ultimately won't be able to escape defeat. But it doesn't matter. If we can't do it in our era, then we will help this era. The war soul of the past has returned. Where is my body today? A war soul roared, shaking the world. He was calling out to his body. One of the countless nameless tombs suddenly exploded. A body that hadn't rotted for 10,000 years appeared. This is the body that I have tempered for tens of thousands of years. Now, my divine soul and my body shall become one. For this world, let's fight again. The war soul laughed and directly entered his already dead body. Dong dong dong. The body that had been dead for 10,000 years suddenly had a heartbeat. Powerful blood burst out and filled his entire body. In the very next moment, his eyes opened. The feeling and strength that he had once felt invincible returned. War god Zhao Wuji has returned. This body said the first sentence in tens of thousands of years. Then, it rushed straight into the clouds and flew towards the 7 races of the ancient age. He had the strength of an immortal emperor. Although he could only maintain it for a period of time and couldn't fight a protracted battle, it was already timely help for the mortal realm at this moment. He wasn't the only one. At this moment, the ancient war souls appeared one by one. They found their former bodies and then became one with their divine souls, temporarily recovering their peak strength. They joined the battlefield. The situation on the battlefield changed. The countless corpses that Lin Jiufeng brought back from the spell realm had already been awakened by him. Among these corpses, the strongest was at the peak of the immortal emperor realm, and the weakest was at the immortal king realm. They joined the battlefield and let the people of the mortal realm that were people slaughtered see hope. For the first time, the 7 races of the ancient age felt pressure from the mortal realm. But this pressure couldn't spread to the 3 king lords. They watched coldly from the side. They were indifferent. The appearance of these war souls just happened to make up for the lack of top combat power in the mortal realm. The 7 races of the ancient age have been living too well over the years. With their tempering, the 7 races will probably rise to another level, Great Destruction said coldly. This is a battlefield, so it's naturally the survival of the fittest. The strong win everything and the weak lose everything. After receiving such a tempering, more talents will appear in the disciples of the 7 races of the ancient age. Ancestral Peak nodded. He ignored the disciples of the 7 races of the ancient age who were killed by some ancient war souls. But before that, I have to deal with the person who awakened these war souls first. He's a genius, but every time the end of the world comes, these geniuses will appear to stop our footsteps. This is too annoying. Outer heaven looked at Lin Jiufeng coldly. He stood proudly in the clouds. His entire body was shrouded by a white fog of light as he said these words calmly. His cold killing intent directly locked onto Lin Jiufeng. He's mine, Great Destruction shouted. His great destruction war spear was still confronting Lin Jiufeng's light of the homes. Then go and kill him, Outer Heaven said calmly. These three king lords were all awakened by Lin Jiufeng entering the spell realm and opening the death realm passageway. Hence, the three of them couldn't hide their killing intent towards Lin Jiufeng. Before killing him, interrogate him about the location of the death realm's passageway. Ancestral Peak reminded Great Destruction. Don't worry, he's just a grasshopper that's about to die. He won't be able to achieve anything. I will force out the location of the death realm from him. Great Destruction nodded. Compared to killing Lin Jiufeng, they wanted to know the whereabouts of the death realm more. After figuring out the location of the death realm, they would then kill Lin Jiufeng. This lamp is too much of a hindrance. Outer Heaven snorted coldly. He reached out and grabbed, wanting to directly capture the light of the homes. Light of the homes, block it. Lin Jiufeng resisted with all his might. The crystal divine kingdoms in his body were constantly burning. The array formations in the crystal divine kingdoms were operating frantically, providing him with strength. But the power of the King Lord realm was still too powerful. The light of the homes went from being evenly matched at the beginning to trembling slightly. Even with the support of Lin Jiufeng's energy, it couldn't withstand the full attack of a King Lord realm cultivator. Not good. The power of the King Lord realm is still too terrifying. Lin Jiufeng knew that he was in trouble. He was only at the 5th step of the Immortal Emperor realm now. He was unable to withstand the full attack of a King Lord realm cultivator, let alone 3. It was also at this moment that at the intersection of the distant heaven and earth of the mortal realm, a loud bang broke through, filled with killing intent. A huge bridge spread from an unknown place to the mortal realm and directly blocked in front of the 3 king lords of the 7 races of the ancient age. There were 3 people standing on this bridge. The auras of these 3 people were completely no weaker than the 3 king lords of the 7 races of the ancient age. When Lin Jiufeng saw this scene, his eyes widened. He recognized this bridge. He also knew the people on the bridge. Previously, in the spell realm, he had acted as Lin too. He had seen this bridge before. A terrifying existence controlled it and entered the spell realm to fight with a king lord. That battle was extremely terrifying. Then, the bridge disappeared with the great millstone of destruction. Lin Jiufeng didn't expect that this bridge would appear when the mortal realm encountered a catastrophe. What he didn't expect was that he actually knew 2 of the 3 people on the bridge. Emperor Yuan and Emperor Ming. After Lin Jiufeng's good younger brother and nephew died back then, they entered the death realm. Lin Jiufeng didn't know what happened, but they entered the mortal realm through the well of heaven ascension and had always hidden themselves. Until now, after almost 200 years, Lin Jiufeng finally saw them again. Chapter 443, The powerful turtle armor and unknown bridge crossed from the intersection of heaven and earth. It carried with it supreme might and rumbling sounds that directly swept away the auras brought by the arrival of the 3 king lords of the 7 races of the ancient age. Boom! Suddenly, this supreme might descended from that bridge. The aura of a king lord filled the entire scene with a rumbling sound. The sound waves of the great Tao were deafening. In the sky, misty green air currents fell one after another. Each of them was as huge and heavy as a mountain. From afar, they looked like celestial rivers falling one after another. In the endless sky, shrouded in primal chaos, earth, wind, water, and fire elements rotated. A huge bridge was faintly discernible, emitting an extremely terrifying power. This was an aura that covered the sky and the earth. It was righteous and peaceful. There was no aggressive aura, but there was a holy and inviolable dignity. At this moment, not to mention the cultivators of the mortal realm, even the powerhouses of the 7 races of the ancient age looked at this familiar yet also unfamiliar bridge with stiffened bodies. The powerhouses of the 7 races of the ancient age had all seen this bridge before. It had appeared above the spell realm before. At that time, even though the king lords of the 7 races acted, they also didn't stop the terror of this bridge. The true powerhouses of the 7 races of the ancient age all believed that there was a problem with this bridge. It was just that they didn't expect that at the moment of the destruction of the mortal realm, this bridge would actually descend with 3 king lords. It instantly reversed the situation of the mortal realm. Lin Jiufeng knew these three people: Emperor Yuan, Emperor Ming, and Turtle Armor. Among the Supreme King Lords standing on this bridge was Lin Jiufeng's younger brother, his nephew, and a friend that he had just met. Emperor Yuan and Emperor Ming were shrouded in primal chaos. They no longer looked like the emperors of the Xuanhuang God Dynasty. Instead, they descended with the radiance of supreme powerhouses. At the side, Turtle Armor also swept away the decadence it showed in the weapon armory valley and displayed a sharp edge. Dang! At this moment, Turtle Armor flicked its finger gently. Light gathered in its palm like a light. It struck the air as if the void was a copper bell that had been passed down for countless years, emitting a heavy sound. 7 races of the ancient age, it's been a long time since we last met. At this moment, Turtle Armor shouted. It was quite domineering. It took a step forward and descended from the bridge. The aura around it made the space tremble. Boom! 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 In the very next moment, a halo formed behind Turtle Armor. It quickly expanded and was resplendent. It suppressed the sun in the sky and transformed into a round disk. The gorgeous, dazzling, and powerful suction force devoured the vital energy of all living beings, plundering the vital energy of the world, and created an immortal treasure wheel. As it continued to absorb, the treasure wheel shone and rumbled. It was like a wheel of reincarnation that pointed directly at the 3 king lords of the 7 races of the ancient age. This treasure wheel condensed behind Turtle Armor. It became increasingly dazzling, making Turtle Armor look like a god. Its entire body was crystal clear. Boom! The treasure wheel shone and rotated. In the sky, it was like a wheel of reincarnation, illuminating Turtle Armor and causing the power of reincarnation to appear around its body. At this moment, Turtle Armor was completely different from its appearance at the Weapon Armory Valley. The faces of the 3 king lords of the 7 races of the ancient age sank when they saw this mysterious bridge and the 3 king lords on it. Damn Turtle, you're actually still alive? Outer Heaven directly cursed. You, this son of a turtle, aren't dead yet. How can I, your grandfather, die? Turtle Armor said lightly. Its words could anger someone to death. Back then, you were jointly killed by 10 king lords, but you actually didn't die? Outer Heaven felt that this was incredible. You have no idea how tough your grandfather, me, is. What are 10 king lords to me? Before I eliminate all of you from the 7 races of the ancient age, how would I dare to die? Turtle Armor curled its lips in disdain. 10 king lords had once joined forces to kill it, but it still escaped and hid in the Weapon Armory Valley for tens of thousands of years. Now that it had returned, it once again faced the 7 races of the ancient age. The Outer Heaven that was just a small fry back then had now grown to become a king lord. Who are the other 2? Great Destruction asked curiously. His gaze wasn't on Turtle Armor, but on Emperor Yuan and Emperor Ming. I don't know, but they feel familiar. Ancestral Peak stared at them solemnly and said slowly. Is there no one else in the mortal realm? In this era, there actually isn't a single king lord. The mortal realm can only depend on you old guys? Outer Heaven said disdainfully. What has it got to do with you whether there's any king lord in the mortal realm? The humans of this era can't rise to become king lords, but we from the past are still alive. If you want to destroy this mortal realm, you have to step on our corpses, Turtle Armor said disdainfully. Ever since this unknown bridge descended into the mortal realm with the 3 king lords, Outer Heaven, Great Destruction, and Ancestral Peak didn't take another look at Lin Jiufeng. No matter how powerful Lin Jiufeng was, he was only at the immortal emperor realm. His threat was incomparable to that of a king lord. We didn't kill you back then, so we shall do so now. Great Destruction reached out and grabbed his magic treasure, the Great Destruction War Spear. He pointed it at Turtle Armor and said coldly. When I ruled over the world back then, you were just an embryo. You actually dare to boast shamelessly in front of me? Turtle Armor had its hands behind its back. Its eyes were thunderous as it said disdainfully with its former domineeringness. You guys are just trash that has been passed down from ancient times. Your only merit is that you have lived for a long time. Real powerhouses won't talk about how long they have lived for. Great Destruction smiled in disdain. He understood turtle armor's past quite well. 6 paths of reincarnation. Great Destruction shouted angrily and was relatively domineering. The ripples created by his step made the universe tremble. The Great Destruction war spear pressed down from the sky and suddenly pierced out. 6 black holes hung in the sky, suppressing the entire skyball to the point that it was about to return to the primal chaos. Although his words were disdainful, Great Destruction still showed some respect to turtle armor. He executed his supreme nomological power. But turtle armor wasn't afraid of him at all. You dare to challenge me with this bit of strength? Back then, the might that your ancestors erupted when they fought with me made me tremble in fear. But you guys are getting worse with each generation. This move is simply unsightly. Watch me as I destroy your attack. Turtle armor directly rushed out at this moment. Its entire body instantly shrank back into its shell. At this moment, no matter what divine laws or all sorts of spells were used, they were all useless. This scene stunned all the powerhouses in the mortal realm. Turtle armor shrank its entire body into its shell. Even though the various nomological powers transformed into blazing lights that landed on its shell, they were also unable to break through. At this moment, mysterious and ancient words flickered on the turtle shell, forming countless array formations. Array formations were organized one after another, forming an absolute defense barrier that negated Great Destruction's powerful attack. The Great Destruction war spear cut through the sky and directly hit the turtle shell. With a clang, it erupted with a gorgeous and dazzling light that spread all around the world. Boom! Extremely terrifying energy surged. Turtle armor's turtle shell was forced back for 3,000 miles. It was beaten until its body jumped out of its shell and coughed non-stop. Of course, that was all. Countless powerhouses were dumbfounded by this scene. This was a powerful strike from a king lord who had existed for several eras. It actually only made turtle armor cough continuously without even spitting out blood. General appointing platform, tell me clearly. What exactly is the background of this turtle? Lin Jiufeng asked eagerly. He knew that turtle armor was very powerful. He also knew that turtle armor was at the King Lord realm, but he didn't know that the turtle armor was actually so powerful. In the battle with Great Destruction, turtle armor had the complete upper hand. The other party used all of his strength and even threw out the Great Destruction war spear, but it didn't even break the turtle shell. From this, it could be seen that the realm and defense power of the two were on completely different levels. Didn't I tell you about the might of turtle armor before? General appointing platform asked. He had no idea about what happened to turtle armor in the past. He only knew turtle armor after it came to the weapon Armory Valley. There probably isn't anyone in the world with a defense more freakish than this turtle. It directly received a King Lord's strongest strike without being damaged, Lin Jiufeng said with emotion. Die! Great Destruction shouted. At this moment, he held his Great Destruction war spear. With it in his hand, it seemed even more dazzling. It burned fiercely and sank down to suppress turtle armor. With a roar, thousands of mountains collapsed. Even the clouds hundreds of miles away were shocked by his aura. At this moment, Great Destruction's aura devoured the world and pressed upon the mountains and rivers. You can't compare to me in being domineering, I'm even more domineering than you. Turtle armor didn't show any weakness. It was fearless and also roared. At this moment, it took the initiative to stick its head out of its turtle shell. It waved its pair of dark old fists and instantly collapsed the world. It came down from the mysterious bridge and roared, "Turtle Fist." The solemn turtle armor and the powerful aura made everyone look forward to its attack incomparably. But in the end, it ended up with such a funny name that made everyone want to laugh but didn't dare to. Turtle armor itself was a huge turtle, although it didn't admit it. But in everyone's eyes, it was just a turtle. Hence, it was natural for its attack to be called Turtle Fist. At this moment, turtle armor rushed up. Its 2 old black fists moved like 2 millstones. The heaven and earth, the mountains and ravines, as well as the King Lord's defense, seemed to be made of paper. They were all struck by his fist and shattered as they flew into the distance. Great Destruction was greatly shocked. He saw various divine nomological powers densely packed on these two black fists. Each of them could amaze the world. It was at this moment that Great Destruction finally understood how terrifying turtle armor was. No wonder he could use his body to shatter all the secret techniques of a king lord. But he didn't have time to think too much. Turtle armor attacked again and tangled with him. It had to be said that turtle armor was completely domineering at this moment. Its two old fists directly shattered the void and destroyed all obstacles. It instantly delivered 999 punches. Although a large portion of them was negated by Great Destruction, at least 1 or 2 punches landed on his body. Dong 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 dong. Great Destruction's heart pounded from the impact. His vital energy and blood surged. The Great Destruction War Spear also trembled steadily, and traces of cracks appeared in its core. Before Emperor Yuan and Emperor Ming could make a move, Turtle Armor defeated Great Destruction alone. In an instant, Turtle Armor struck Great Destruction until he spat out blood non-stop. Remember, although what I hate you is called the Turtle Fist, I'm not a turtle. Turtle Armor emphasized solemnly. This scene stunned Lin Jiufeng and the people of the world. Even the top powerhouses of the 7 races of the ancient age watched in a daze. Since when did such a powerhouse appear in the mortal realm? At this moment, many people simultaneously thought of this question. The waters of the mortal realm are really too deep. Lin Jiufeng sighed and lamented. Chapter 444, The Powerful Turtle Armor, Part 2, Translator, Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios' Turtle Armor used Turtle Fist to beat Great Destruction until his face turned green and black as he spat out large mouthfuls of blood. You are a turtle. Great Destruction gritted his teeth. Even though he spat out blood from Turtle Armor's punches and his organs were all shattered, to a King Lord Realm powerhouse, these injuries were insignificant and could be healed with a breath. Great Destruction's body became one with the world. As he inhaled, the injuries in his body quickly healed. To King Lords, as long as they weren't killed in an instant, they would have a chance to recover to their peak. After recovering, the Great Destruction stared at Turtle Armor, his eyes filled with hatred. To the top powerhouses of the 7 races of the ancient age, the existence of Turtle Armor was like a scab. It couldn't threaten the 7 races of the ancient age, but it made them feel very uncomfortable. In the long years before, there was basically the figure of Turtle Armor in every era. Even though it had been hiding in the Weapon Armory Valley for tens of thousands of years, causing the 7 races of the Great Valley to think that it had really been killed. But at this moment, when the mortal realm encountered a catastrophe, Turtle Armor returned and attacked powerfully, beating Great Destruction, who had reigned supreme for several eras until he had no temper at all. Hence, Great Destruction was so angry that he directly cursed. Let me tell you something. You really made me angry. Although I know the turtle fist technique and I look like a turtle on the outside, I'm definitely not a turtle, Turtle Armor said with a serious expression. It was very concerned about this matter. Great Destruction had slandered it, so it explained seriously and then charged forward with its old fist. The turtle fist technique displayed its might once again. The great Tao nomological powers flickered. Its magic power was as vast as the sea, surging and twisting the earth, wind, water, and fire in the world. Turtle Armor suppressed Great Destruction, and the two fought until the world around them collapsed. A huge hole was torn in the sky as if the fist of Turtle Armor was even more powerful than the most powerful magic treasure in the world. Even though Great Destruction waved the spear in his hand in a ferocious manner, he was still suppressed and beaten. What was even more terrifying was that Turtle Armor's fists were even stronger than the Great Destruction War Spear. Every punch made the Great Destruction War Spear tremble, causing the web between the Great Destruction's thumb and index finger to split open, and making Great Destruction look uncomfortable. Hurry up and help me. Great Destruction roared in the sky. He was asking for help. He was really afraid of Turtle Armor now. Turtle Armor's turtle fist was really too uncomfortable for him. If this continued, there would be a problem with the Great Destruction War Spear. Outer Heaven and Ancestral Peak wanted to take action. They had been paying close attention to this battle. When they saw Turtle Armor suppressing Great Destruction with its attack, their faces turned very serious. Hence, Great Destruction shouted for them to directly attack. You escaped from being killed back then, but you definitely won't be able to escape today. Outer Heaven said with a cold expression. Kill. Ancestral Peak only had one word to say. Then, he wanted to help Great Destruction together with Outer Heaven. Boom! 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 The mysterious bridge that had been silent all this time suddenly moved. It suddenly smashed down, directly crossing the sky and blocking the path of Outer Heaven and Ancestral Peak, preventing them from saving Great Destruction. Emperor Yuan and Emperor Ming stood on the bridge. Primal chaos lingered around them, blocking Outer Heaven and Ancestral Peak. Outer Heaven's face sank. He quickly looked at Great Destruction, who was in the distance. At this moment, Great Destruction was being chased and beaten by turtle armor. He was very aggrieved. Outer Heaven was very anxious, but he couldn't go past Emperor Yuan and Emperor Ming to reinforce and help Great Destruction. Who exactly are you two? Outer Heaven asked coldly. The feeling you guys give me is very familiar, but you guys are definitely not the people I know, Ancestral Peak said solemnly. On the bridge, Emperor Yuan's eyes were bright. Primal chaos lingered around his body, and a vast life force appeared in the primal chaos. He stretched out his hand and raised his palm. A vast universe appeared in his palm. Stars appeared and rotated slightly. I am the Emperor of the mortal realm. Emperor Yuan said slowly. The Emperor of the mortal realm? Outer Heaven and Ancestral Peak frowned. They never expected that this somewhat familiar but incomparably mysterious King Lord would actually be born from this weak mortal realm. No, you have the smell of someone familiar on you. You aren't from this era. Ancestral Peak stared at Emperor Yuan and frowned tightly, not believing his words. He had been observing Emperor Yuan and Emperor Ming. The feeling that Emperor Yuan and Emperor Ming gave him was very familiar, making him vaguely recall some powerful existences that he had once heard of. But Ancestral Peak wasn't willing to believe it. Because these powerful existences that he had once heard of had long disappeared in the long river of time. How could they possibly appear in this era? I'm the Emperor of the mortal realm. If you want to sweep through the mortal realm, I will naturally come out. Emperor Yuan's body was tall and sturdy. He had the bearing of dragons and tigers. With a move of his palm, everything in the world, the stars, and the myriad universes were all captured inside. The powerful aura that he emitted was definitely that of a famous existence in the King Lord realm. Emperor Ming stood silently at the side. He was like an ancient majestic mountain, giving people infinite pressure. The two of them blocked the path of the Ancestral Peak and Outer Heaven. They didn't make a move either. They just didn't let Outer Heaven and Ancestral Peak save Great Destruction. Great Destruction roared for help, but after a long while, he still didn't receive any. And when fighting with turtle armor, he had to devote himself fully to it, not daring to be distracted. Hence, he felt extremely uncomfortable at this moment. Boom! 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 Turtle armor was still as unreasonable as before. It constantly punched. Without saying anything, it just attacked. The Great Destruction War Spear was covered in cracks from the turtle armor's turtle fist. It let out cracking sounds and was about to explode. In the end, Great Destruction let out an indignant roar. He was flustered and exasperated. A crazy aura surged as if he wanted to fight with his life. But in the very next moment, he turned around and fled. He was really afraid of this turtle now. If this continued, those iron palms would really shatter his Great Destruction War Spear. The Great Destruction War Spear that had accompanied him for several eras couldn't be shattered just like that, so at this moment, he didn't care about anything anymore. All face and prestige were useless. The most important thing was that he could survive and preserve the Great Destruction War Spear. At this moment, Great Destruction transformed into clouds, wind, and lightning. He directly escaped from the mortal realm to the spell realm, where the 7 races of the ancient age were located. Damn turtle, I will definitely destroy this mortal realm. Great Destruction even threatened turtle armor before he escaped. I've told you so many times, but you still can't remember. I'm not a turtle. Turtle armor chased after him, its face filled with anger. It had already been provoked by being called a turtle and didn't want to let great destruction off at all. At this moment, Turtle Armor directly chased from the mortal realm to the spell realm where the 7 races of the ancient age were located. During this process, the war in the mortal realm also stopped. Everyone watched, dumbfounded. This was obviously a huge matter. The 7 races of the ancient age descended with a powerful aura and wanted to sweep through the mortal realm, but an existence that was very similar to a turtle suddenly appeared and forced a king lord to retreat step by step. It even chased from the mortal realm to the spell realm. How incredible! Even Lin Jiufeng gasped as he watched. General Appointing Platform even mumbled, "Turtle armor is actually this powerful?" Chapter 445, Situlanchi Translator, Atlas Studios Editor. Atlas Studios' turtle armor was ferocious and domineering. It directly chased after great destruction until it reached the spell realm. It executed the turtle fist technique that it had created. When its fists were raised, wind, thunder, rain, anger, sun, and sunset were all in this punch. Although the name of Turtle Fist wasn't nice, its might was ferocious. Great Destruction knew this very well. He was really afraid of turtle armor now. But he didn't expect that even though he had escaped to the door of the spell realm, turtle armor still wouldn't let him go. It crossed worlds to kill him. The base camp of the 7 races of the ancient age is right ahead. You dare to kill me here? Great Destruction roared angrily and without confidence. Every time an era is destroyed, there will always be people at the king realm who will die and be buried with them. Since the 7 races of the ancient age want to destroy the current mortal realm, then you can be the first king lord to be buried with it, Turtle Armor shouted domineeringly. Its eyes were cold. With a punch, it split the heaven and earth and rectified the chaos of the world. Its fist cut through the primal chaos and struck the void. Under its fist, the evolution of a major world played out. This punch connected the future, creating a path that no one knew where it led to. Boom! A vast fighting spirit accompanied by a suffocating fist technique instantly drowned Great Destruction. Just before the spell realm, the human realm powerhouses were looking at the starry sky. Turtle Armor wanted to kill Great Destruction. It did as it said. With this punch, all the demonic creatures, ill fate, and all other things in the future were shattered, revealing a new world. This new world was the burial place of Great Destruction. Great Destruction was drowned in it and practically had no room to resist. Even if he tried his best to retaliate with the Great Destruction War Spear, it was useless. Because after the Great Destruction War Spear was activated, it immediately exploded. Facing Great Destruction, who was in a weak state, Turtle Armor's full force strike was simply a crushing force. At this moment, Great Destruction was like a lamp in the wind that could be extinguished at any moment. A powerhouse that surpassed the immortal Emperor realm should have been impossible to kill. But in front of the Turtle Fist, even the life of a king lord seemed to become fragile. Great Destruction wanted to struggle with all his might, but all his efforts were in vain. At this moment, Turtle Armor's killing intent was high. It wanted to kill Great Destruction in front of all the powerhouses of the spell realm and the mortal realm. In the past, I would take action in every era, but I have never saved any era. The people and things that I cared about in the past have all left me following the destruction of the era and the collapse of the world. Turtle Armor's eyes bloomed with light. It seemed to have seen the end of different eras in the past. He missed those eras. But he also knew that he couldn't go back to the past. Hence, after he came to the mortal realm from the Weapon Armory Valley, he joined the team of comrades that he was once familiar with. He also came with them for the calamity of the mortal realm this time. The autumn wind and fallen leaves were irreversible. Turtle Armor was the first to make a move. It was so powerful that it made one tremble in fear. It didn't have a warlike character. It just felt that instead of making a move at the end of an era, it was better to use all of its strength before the era was destroyed. Great Destruction reigned supreme for several eras and wiped out several eras. He was a symbol of the 7 races of the ancient age, so Turtle Armor targeted him. At this moment, Turtle Armor seemed to have returned to the past. With each punch, it poured out everything that it had once missed. All the way until the turtle fist reached its peak. A surging punch was thrown in the blink of an eye, directly making Great Destruction feel the aura of death. Not good. This punch can destroy the body of a King Lord Realm cultivator. Great Destruction's pupils shrank violently. He was shocked. He felt the aura of death. This was unprecedented. Great Destruction instantly shouted, "Lord Situlanchi, save me!" This shout reverberated throughout the land. His voice was hoarse, like a cuckoo weeping blood. Even the high and mighty king lords would also be afraid in the face of death. This intense shout had an effect. Suddenly, a change happened. When Turtle Armor punched out and was about to kill Great Destruction, a vortex appeared above the spell realm and the vast starry sky of the universe. This vortex burst out with a powerful force that practically tore through the ages. Clang! In the very next moment, a streak of light poured down. This red light seemed to be a blade light, a sword light, or an aurora. It descended and scattered a rainbow in the sky, bringing with it the aura of redemption that filled the long distance between the spell realm and the mortal realm. "You can't save him," Turtle Armor said coldly. It knew that someone had come, but even if someone came, they wouldn't be able to save the Great Destruction. Its fist waved, directly striking the rainbow light as if it was splitting the world apart. At this moment, a series of explosions appeared, as if stars were exploding. It was very magnificent. The galaxy was resplendent. The battle between the rainbow light and the fist was extremely intense. Turtle Armor directly struck the rainbow light forcefully. A rumbling explosion reverberated through the sky and the mortal realm. But the result was that Turtle Armor's turtle fist didn't move this rainbow light. After enduring the powerful attack of Turtle Armor, the rainbow light was dilapidated, but it didn't collapse. It directly swept Great Destruction into it, escaping the danger and sending him into the spell realm. Turtle Armor's expression darkened. It had just said that it wanted to kill Great Destruction, but in the blink of an eye, Great Destruction was saved. This was equivalent to it being slapped in the face. "What kind of powerhouse are you, hiding in the spell realm and not daring to come out?" Turtle Armor shouted coldly. "Turtle, you've lived for so long. Yet, instead of hiding, you still dare to appear in this world. It seems that the 10 King Lords didn't scare you last time." A cold and disdainful voice sounded. With a lofty attitude, a person walked out of the spell realm. This figure was tall and incomparably majestic. Standing in the starry sky, he was like a huge demonic mountain. The aura emitting from his body was incomparably terrifying, suppressing the eternal blue sky. He walked very slowly, but he was relatively terrifying. It was as if he had experienced the boundless tribulation. His body was combined with the great Tao of heaven and earth. Standing in the starry sky, he was the great Tao itself. When Lin Jiufeng, who was far away in the mortal realm, saw this person, he instantly frowned and said in a low voice, "Situlanchi." When he acted as Lin too back then, a huge matter happened in the spell realm. In order to snatch the great millstone of destruction, a few of the ancestors of the spell realm awakened and fought. One of them was this Situlanchi. Although he didn't manage to snatch the great millstone of destruction in the end, one could see how powerful he was. "Situlanchi, you're still alive?" Turtle Armor, who was far away in the starry sky, immediately shouted in surprise when it saw this person. Turtle Armor also knew this person. It was deeply surprised. It should be known that when it was facing outer heaven, ancestral peak, and great destruction, its attitude was still very high. It didn't take these 3 King Lords seriously. That was because Turtle Armor wasn't afraid of these 3 people. But Situlanchi was different. He was a terrifying existence born in the same era as Turtle Armor. He lived all the way to this day. Moreover, Situlanchi was already more outstanding than Turtle Armor back then. Although they were both at the King Lord realm, his strength was completely on a different level from that of outer heaven, ancestral peak, and great destruction. There was also a gap between the strength of the King Lords too. Chapter 446, Emperor Yuan's secret translator, Atlas Studios editor, Atlas Studios. Xuanhuang's appearance directly made the already clear situation instantly become turbulent. He was very powerful. In front of him, great destruction could only be considered a junior. He walked out of the spell realm with a peerless aura. Standing in the starry sky, he actually gave birth to an endless life force in the starry sky. In the vast starry sky, the plants were flourishing. All sorts of immortal divine flowers bloomed, creating a path that was filled with flowers. This was a miracle. Starlight flickered and the plants flourished. A path surrounded by flowers accentuated the might of King Lord Xuanhuang. Giving off a look of majesty, he walked towards turtle armor step by step. He held no weapon and the entire starry sky trembled with his footsteps. Billions of stars flickered indefinitely. You and I were born in the same era. Back then, you were nothing at all. You were just an ordinary pet. I didn't expect that after so many years, you would actually also enter the King Lord realm. The last time you appeared, my race sent 10 King Lord realms to kill you, but they still let you escape. Today, such a thing won't happen again. Xuanhuang looked at turtle armor coldly. His voice was like a thunderclap that exploded in the starry sky and the mortal realm. Turtle armor shook its fists. With its hands behind its back, it curled its lips and said, "Don't talk about these useless things here. Speaking of the past and present, I definitely know more than you. You only relied on the might of the 7 races of the ancient age to rise up. I experienced trials and tribulations in the mortal realm time and time again and lived until now. Although my realm is inferior to yours, I'm not afraid of you in terms of strength." Turtle armor spoke very domineeringly, but his words made everyone feel the gap between it and Xuanhuang. Turtle armor was inferior to Xuanhuang. Be it in terms of realm or strength, the gap between them wasn't small. But this was understandable. Turtle armor would appear every time the mortal realm encountered a catastrophe. Moreover, the repeated battles caused it to suffer quite a lot of damage. The last time it appeared, it even forcefully resisted 10 king lords of the 7 races of the ancient age with its own strength. After that battle, turtle armor hid in the weapon armory valley and had been recuperating. Moreover, it would fall into a deep sleep from time to time. It wasn't until recently that it recovered to the King Lord realm again and then returned to the mortal realm. But Xuanhuang had always maintained a good state and continued to cultivate. In this way, the gap between him and turtle armor naturally widened. Your mouth is still as tough as your turtle shell. Back then, you were lucky enough to escape with your life. Instead of hiding, you continued to appear in this world. Now, I shall kill you personally. Xuanhuang was very terrifying. His gaze was cold and relatively domineering. He directly raised his right hand and suddenly struck. Rumble. In the very next moment, space was shattered. The aftershocks swept for thousands of miles in the starry sky, directly shattering the area where turtle armor was. The curtain of the fight opened, and a duel to the death started. At this moment, he transformed into a bright light. A dazzling light accompanied by the revolving of great Tao directly swept through the starry sky. Tortoise God Fist. Turtle armor wasn't to be outdone. Facing the old enemy that it was very familiar with, it directly called the turtle fist into the turtle God Fist. Boom! 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 Its fist struck out, directly ripping apart the resplendent great Tao. This was an extremely terrifying great cultivation technique. At this moment, the turtle God Fist burst out with powerful blood energy. It was like a sea, vast and mighty, sweeping tens of thousands of huge waves that surged over from all directions, vast and shocking. With a bang, the resplendent and dense blood energy collided with the great Tao that Xuanhuang scattered out, producing the most resplendent light. Feathers scattered in the starry sky, like fire trees and silver flowers, gorgeous and dazzling. The battle between these two directly displayed to the world how powerful a king realm powerhouse was. They split the starry sky and spread endlessly, their fight spreading from the mortal realm to the spell realm, tearing apart many stars and devouring the moon, making the world without a moon. It was too terrifying. That's all you have? Xuanhuang said coldly. Although the turtle armor's turtle God Fist was very powerful, Xuanhuang had long expected it. They were both very familiar with each other's existence. After being entangled for so many years, Xuanhuang wouldn't underestimate turtle armor at all. Especially when turtle armor caused a lot of trouble for the 7 races of the ancient age. As the saying goes, seeing me is seeing Tao. Xuanhuang shouted and shattered the dense blood energy. He reached out and clenched his hand, and a black halberd appeared in his hand. He waved this black halberd and struck down, using his peerless divine strength. Dang! One a sound that shook the world reverberated between the starry sky and the mortal realm. At this moment, an aura that surpassed the mountain and seas, the primordial ages, time, and reached the Paramitha burst out from Xuanhuang's body. The black halberd split apart the sea of blood energy. It directly collided with the turtle armor's shell. The intense impact directly struck turtle armor from the starry sky into the mortal realm. Boom! A huge 8 trigrams burst out of turtle armor's body, spreading across the starry sky. It tried its best to resist Xuanhuang's ferocious strike. But it was useless. It was ruthlessly struck down into the mortal realm. Xuanhuang's aura was surging. He didn't want to give turtle armor any chance anymore, so he immediately chased over. With a whoosh, Xuanhuang also stepped into the mortal realm from the starry sky. His black hair scattered, and his body was tall and sturdy. As he walked, dragons and tigers circled around him. With a slight movement, he seemed to control all the free movement in the world. There was no place that he couldn't go. Xuanhuang waved the black halberd and directly pointed it at turtle armor's heart. He wanted to shatter the turtle armor's life. Innate 8 trigrams. Turtle armor wasn't to be outdone. It knew that it wasn't a match for Xuanhuang, but wanting to kill it so easily was impossible. The turtle shell behind it instantly burst out, evolving into an innate 8 trigrams that emitted the Taoan truth, possessing infinite power and defense. Boom! 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 The black halberd struck the innate 8 trigrams, directly erupting with a series of flames. You actually successfully condensed the innate 8 trigrams? Xuanhuang, who had always been confident and domineering, said in surprise. The 8 trigrams were divided into postnatal and innate. Postnatal was man-made. Even if it was very powerful, there was still a limit. But the innate 8 trigrams were born together with the world. Even when the sun and moon rotted, it would still exist. Although there was only a word difference between the two, the difference in might and grade between the two was unreachable. Back then, the 8 trigrams of turtle armor was postnatal. No one expected that after so many years, turtle armor actually raised the 8 trigrams to the innate rank. No wonder Xuanhuang was surprised. It should be known that the black halberd in his hand had accompanied him for countless years from the first day of its birth until now. But in terms of grade, it still belonged to the peak of the postnatal rank. Xuanhuang did everything he could, but he couldn't raise the black halberd to the innate rank. But in these years, turtle armor had raised his 8 trigrams to the innate rank. In terms of comprehension and creation, the 7 races of the ancient age are unable to compare to the races in the mortal realm. It's a pity, it's completely a waste for this innate 8 trigrams to follow you. Why don't you hand it to me and let me study how it improved to the innate rank? This way, it might be useful for my prehistoric halberd. Xuanhuang's heart was greedy. He had his eyes on this innate 8 trigrams and wanted to take it for himself, and study it seriously. But turtle armor ignored him. The 8 trigrams was thrown out and directly expanded to the entire sky, blocking the terrifying power of Xuanhuang's halberd. Boom! 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 The collision of the 2 top-grade magic treasures and the full might of the 2 king realm cultivators behind them directly swept through the mortal realm. A catastrophe arrived. The mortal realm encountered an unprecedented catastrophe. Other than the powerhouses of the immortal realm and above, the ordinary people suffered heavy casualties. They were swept away by the might of the collision between the ancient halberd and the innate 8 trigrams. The fragile mortal realm seemed to be about to be torn apart by the full strength of the 2 king lords. Fortunately, at this moment, the unknown bridge that was controlled by Emperor Yuan and Emperor Ming directly stabilized the mortal realm. Only then was the mortal realm of this era preserved. Innate 8 trigrams, capture. Golden lights appeared on Xuanhuang's body expressionlessly. They burst out and weaved into a net that directly went down and captured the innate 8 trigrams. Xuanhuang wanted to forcefully remove the innate 8 trigrams from Turtle Armor's control. When Turtle Armor saw this scene, it frowned and shouted, "Hey, the two of you are here to watch the show? Seeing this, aren't you going to make a move? It's very strenuous for me to fight 2 King Realm cultivators alone," Turtle Armor shouted. It mentioned fighting 2 King Realm powerhouses. The first was Great Destruction, and the second was Xuanhuang. It beat Great Destruction until he ran and almost killed him in the end. Then, Turtle Armor battled Xuanhuang, but it found it a little strenuous to fight against Xuanhuang. It was calling out to Emperor Yuan and Emperor Ming. Emperor Yuan and Emperor Ming, who had been standing on the bridge all this time, attracted everyone's attention at this moment, including Lin Jiufeng. Lin Jiufeng stared fixedly, wanting to see what kind of change had happened to Emperor Yuan and Emperor Ming. They had gone from ordinary emperors to King Realm powerhouses in just 100 to 200 years. Xuanhuang also looked at Emperor Yuan and Emperor Ming. He frowned. What a familiar feeling. Xuanhuang murmured to himself. I sense old friends from you guys, and not just one. Xuanhuang stared at Emperor Yuan and Emperor Ming as he said slowly. You guys are like exquisite items, but your cores seem to be made from all sorts of different parts. Xuanhuang constantly analyzed and dissected Emperor Yuan and Emperor Ming. His eyes could see through all the flaws and weaknesses in the world. As he watched, his eyes suddenly widened. He was even more surprised than when Turtle Armor threw out the innate 8 trigrams just now. The ancient war god, the former empress, the undying successor, the powerhouse Heaven Blade. I sense the auras of many old friends from you too. Without exception, they were all killed by the 7 races of the ancient age. It's impossible for them to revive. Therefore, someone took a portion of their power each and combined them together, then stitched this combined power into your soul and body. By combining their former power, your King Lord realm was forged. You guys are just a huge stitched monster. Xuanhuang analyzed the secrets in Emperor Yuan's body and said word by word. Lin Jiufeng's eyes widened in surprise. He never expected that Emperor Yuan would become a king lord like this. Former powerhouses died in battle and were unable to revive. But they could preserve a portion of their soul and energy. Gathering them together and stitching them all in one person's body, that person could reach the king realm after mastering this power. It was no wonder that Ancestral Peak and Outer Heaven kept saying that Emperor Yuan and Emperor Ming had the auras of acquaintances, but they didn't know the specific situation. Now, Xuanhuang's words exposed the secret and shocked everyone. Emperor Yuan's body was shrouded in primal chaos. When he heard Xuanhuang's words, he was indifferent. He took a step forward, and his aura rose. He was actually not weaker than Xuanhuang at all. His tall body stood tall in the air. His newly resurrected body seemed to be an ancient divine body that would never be destroyed. I was once the emperor of the mortal realm. I inherited the wishes of my seniors. They became one with me. Now, they have returned and are continuing to fight with the 7 races of the ancient age. As Emperor Yuan spoke, he reached out and shook his hand, directly executing a terrifying killing move. The Lost Mortal Realm. Chapter 447, A single spark can burn the plane's translator. Atlas Studios editor. Atlas Studios Emperor Yuan appeared once again, possessing powerful strength. His strength didn't come from one person but from the once brilliant powerhouses. They had already died in battle, they were unable to revive. Some of their remaining power was injected into Emperor Yuan's body and released in this era. As for why they chose Emperor Yuan, no one could explain. But just as Emperor Yuan said, he was once the emperor of the mortal realm. He had protected the mortal realm all his life. Unlike Lin Jiufeng, Emperor Yuan stood in the spotlight and enjoyed the admiration of the people. He was a hero standing in the light. Hence, facing Xuanhuang, Emperor Yuan directly delivered a powerful strike. At this moment, the power in his body came from different eras. The power condensed by different powerhouses slowly floated and transformed into exquisite talismans that rotated around Emperor Yuan's resurrected soul, like stars surrounding the moon. At this moment, Emperor Yuan's soul was incomparably powerful. But this power wasn't his own. Instead, it was the willingness of those former powerhouses to serve as green leaves to serve as a foil for him. These talismans surrounded Emperor Yuan's soul and completely submitted to him. They surrounded him like the stars surrounding the moon, forming a huge cycle in his body, improving Emperor Yuan's body and making him constantly comprehend the great Tao of the King Lord realm. Even Emperor Yuan's revival was greatly related to these talismans. At this moment, Emperor Yuan attacked. The great Tao of heaven and earth shook, and the technique, the lost mortal realm, burst out. This was a great Tao cultivation technique that he had compiled according to the great Tao emitted by more than 10 former powerhouses in his body. With a tremble of his body, more than 10 kings' auras rushed into the sky. Ghosts cried and gods howled, and the world shook. The dozen or so auras all transformed into a portion of the attack. The lost mortal realm was a chaotic world. It was filled with killing, wails, seas of blood, and corpses that resembled mountains. It was like purgatory. Above this purgatory, a lamp slowly hovered. A lamp with a fragile light. But it became the only light in this dark world. The aura of the flames burned was extremely similar to the smell of the black-yellow blood. With a slight movement, it could cleanse the filth of the mortal realm. If one looked carefully, there were more than 10 former powerhouses sitting upright in this lamp. Their faces couldn't be seen clearly, but one could see that they were constantly executing various great Tao to increase the might of this lamp, causing the light that flickered with a weak light to have the ability to illuminate the ages and find the direction in the dark world. The lost mortal realm burst out with a powerful force. This lamp also penetrated the layers of darkness of the future and illuminated the present. Boom! The lost mortal realm collided with Xuanhuang. He had nowhere to escape or hide. The lost mortal realm was coming for him specifically. You mortal realm powerhouses are really interesting. You can even be resurrected after dying in battle. Even if you can't be resurrected, you can use the remaining strength in your bodies cleanly. But what's the use of this? Back then, I could even crush you existences that were at the peak one by one. Now, only your remnant souls still exist, yet you still want to overturn the world. You guys are simply dreaming. Xuanhuang was disdainful. He had absolute confidence. This confidence came from the invincible results of the 7 races of the ancient age at the end of each era. Hence, facing the lost mortal realm, he grabbed with his large hand. A vast power of origin burst out and swept across the scene. The power of origin burst out of this vast world, it directly collided with the lost world. Boom! 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 A powerful impact exploded in the starry sky. The stars fell, the galaxy rolled, and the sun and moon dimmed. The sun and the moon were both blocked at this moment. The world fell into darkness. Everyone looked up at the sky and the galaxy. A cracking sound came from the lost mortal realm. This mortal realm still couldn't resist the power of origin. This cracking sound made the hearts of all the powerhouses in the mortal realm tighten. Such a powerful move was blocked? Someone asked in confusion. T feel that the lost mortal realm will instantly vaporize even the great destruction from just now. Why has it been broken now? Someone asked in fear. What the hell is this power of origin? Someone asked through gritted teeth. Everyone could see how powerful the lost mortal realm was. Everyone also saw how terrifying the power of origin was. Right above the starry sky, the lost mortal realm and the power of origin burst out. The lost mortal realm was suppressed. I feel that the lost mortal realm is no match for the power of origin. Lin Jiufeng also saw it clearly. Although he was very powerful and was invincible in the immortal emperor realm, the gap between him and the King Lord realm was still quite big. Therefore, he had no power to participate in this battle. But from the appearance of Emperor Yuan to the appearance of the lost mortal realm, and then the appearance of the power of origin, they all shocked Lin Jiufeng. The true powerhouses could transform the yin and yang in the starry sky, reverse the galaxy, and played with the mortal realm in the palm of their hands. The great Tao floated by their sides. This was the style of the true powerhouses. At this moment, Emperor Yuan and Xuanhuang were powerhouses in Lin Jiufeng's eyes. Cracking sounds came from the lost mortal realm, but it didn't affect Emperor Yuan at all. He remained calm as he watched coldly. The power of origin. This power is that of King Lord Origin, an ancient existence of the 7 races of the ancient age. Emperor Yuan immediately guessed. While accepting the power of those powerhouses who couldn't return, he also inherited a portion of their memories and experience. And in this portion of memory and experience was a terrifying existence, the King Lord Origin that Emperor Yuan mentioned just now. He was the founder of the 7 races of the ancient age. He was the mastermind behind the scenes of the 7 races of the ancient age. He had once fought with Shakyamuni and moved the river of time. His name was carved in the history of the past. He was the true supreme powerhouse of the 7 races of the ancient age. Since you know about King Lord Origin, why don't you surrender obediently and follow the 7 races of the ancient age? Since you have inherited the strength of those people, you should learn to be a wise man and flow with the tide. You can't save this era. Xuanhuang placed his hands behind his back and said proudly. Boom! Behind him, another vast and boundless power of origin erupted. It instantly swept through half the starry sky. An absolutely powerful and terrifying existence slowly appeared. King Lord Origin. This was a tall and huge old man in a long robe that seemed to be black and yet wasn't black, seemed to be white and yet wasn't. These 2 colors interweaved together. He lowered his brows and looked down as if he was sleeping soundly or thinking. If his eyes opened, this world would return to its original source. This is the ancestor of the 7 races of the ancient age, King Lord Origin. I once wanted to become his disciple, but he said that I was slow-witted and refused to accept me. He only imparted me the cultivation method of the power of origin. After so many years, I have also cultivated to the King Lord realm. The power of origin I cultivated all these years is accumulated in my body. In this era, I can easily sweep through you king realms that have been pieced together, Xuanhuang said coldly. The huge phantom behind him was just a phantom. Not the true body of the King Lord Origin. But this was already shocking enough. Buzz! Emperor Yuan, who had been watching coldly all this time, flicked his finger at this moment. The power that burst out directly shattered the outer shell of the lost mortal realm. The shell of darkness, killing, bones like mountains, and a sea of blood collapsed at this moment. Eat my light of the human world. Emperor Yuan braced his body. More than 10 streams of light flew out from his body. They were all part of the strength of former powerhouses. There was the power of life, the power of creation, the surging of the great Tao, and the brilliance of the galaxy. These energies surged in all directions, exploding through the starry sky and directly charging into the lost mortal realm, crashing into the lamp. It was this lamp that gathered the different resplendent mortal realms in the different spacetime where more than 10 powerhouses were. At this moment, a single spark instantly burned the plains. Even with the power of origin from King Lord Origin, it was useless. The spark of fire in the mortal realm ignited everything. After passing through the endless darkness and the obstruction of the long river of time, they arrived at the end of this world. The spark of fire could bomb the plains. The power of origin was ignited. The phantom of King Lord Origin was burned. Xuanhuang was caught off guard. He didn't expect that the insignificant lamp would actually light up the starry sky at this moment. His power of origin was directly burned. He was forced to retreat continuously by the flames, spitting out blood. His face was pale as he watched in incomparable horror at the light of the mortal realm that was gathered from several eras. Weren't the light of the mortal realm wiped out? Xuanhuang roared, his voice carrying thick fear. He wasn't afraid of Emperor Yuan, he was just afraid of the light of the mortal realm. Emperor Yuan didn't take advantage of the situation. It wasn't that he didn't want to, but he didn't have the ability to. This light of the mortal realm only had this little spark. And this little spark was a weak fire seed left behind by these dozen or so former powerhouses. Emperor Yuan didn't have more to use. Hence, using the power of this spark to start a prairie fire, forcing Xuanhuang back, and burning away his power of origin was already very good. This weak light was simply insufficient to kill Xuanhuang. After Xuanhuang roared in fear, he also quickly discovered this secret. As expected, you only have this little bit of light of the mortal realm. The light that once belonged to the 9 provinces of the mortal realm has already been extinguished by the 7 races of the ancient age. Even if a little of it remains, it won't cause much of a stir. You ignited my power of origin, so what? Today, this mortal realm will still be destroyed. Xuanhuang's body suddenly expanded to an unknown height. It could almost be said that he became as tall as the starry sky. He roared. 7 races of the ancient age, attack! The end of this era is really too disappointing. Hurry up and clean it up to welcome the arrival of a new era. As for the King Lord realms, leave them to us. As Xuanhuang's words fell, a huge door appeared in the spell realm behind him. The door was directly connected to the mortal realm. Then, powerful auras and excited voices surged out. The 7 races of the ancient age attacked the mortal realm in full force. When the human realm powerhouses saw this scene, their faces changed. But Lin Jiufeng didn't. He had a relatively deep understanding of the power of the 7 races of the ancient age. Hence, he only sighed at this moment. Can't deal with a king realm cultivator, but dealing with small fries like you guys is still easy. The guardian of the mortal realm, Immortal Emperor Lin, was about to make a move. Chapter 448 Slaughter. The door that Xuanhuang opened was extremely huge, standing tall in the sky. The surrounding fog was shrouded, misty, mysterious, and unfathomable. It contained a majestic might that even an immortal emperor would find difficult to shake. The true combat power of the 7 races of the ancient age flew out from this door. The war in the mortal realm had already stopped previously, but at this moment, the war started again. Kill, kill! At this moment, shouts of killing shook the sky. There were killing sounds and battlefields everywhere. The entire mortal realm was already filled with killing intent. The boundless blue seawater was dyed red. There were many figures fighting in the red sky, killing each other. The sky was densely filled with their figures. Pooh! Bloodlight rushed into the sky as corpses fell from the sky. Most of them were cultivators of the mortal realm, and the number of people from the 7 races of the ancient age that died was extremely limited. The combat power of the mortal realm and the 7 races of the ancient age was still not proportional. Some people screamed miserably, roaring in grief, heartbroken. These voices sounded one after another. A child roared angrily, "Give my father back his life." Pooh! In the very next moment, blood splashed. This child followed in his father's footsteps. His body was blasted into pieces, and he died tragically in the air. There were also tragic-looking men who knew that they were no match for the 7 races of the ancient age, but they still charged forward forcefully and did their best. Even if they had to die, they still wanted to drag down the death of one of the 7 races of the ancient age. Grandpa! Grandpa! Don't die! A little girl rushed into the sky. With eyes filled with tears, she hugged an old man covered in blood whose abdomen had long been penetrated. She shouted in grief. A sword light burst out in the sky, and a resplendent light slashed down. It transformed into hundreds of fatal swords that split the little girl into 2. On the ground that was stained with blood, a lively life ended here and followed her grandfather. This was just the tip of the iceberg in the war. This was just a tragic scene in the vast mortal realm. Blood flew in the sky as cold corpses constantly fell. Be it the cultivators of the mortal realm or the warriors of the 7 races of the ancient age, at this moment, they risked their lives to fight. Their lives became insignificant. The cruel reality made the powerhouses of the mortal realm despair. Although there were warriors of the 7 races of the ancient age who died, compared to the deaths of the mortal realm, those weren't worth mentioning at all. After countless years of accumulation, the 7 races of the ancient age had always occupied the lead. The number of powerhouses far exceeded that of the mortal realm. This was an environment that made people feel despair. Even though there were hundreds of immortal kings and several immortal emperors in the mortal realm, everyone lost their confidence in the face of the 7 ancestors of the ancient age coming out in full strength. What could they use to resist? The limited immortal kings and immortal emperors on their side couldn't withstand the impact of the army of the 7 races of the ancient age at all. Tragedies were happening one after another in the mortal world. When the doomsday arrived, it was far more cruel and terrifying than imagined. When Lin Jiufeng saw such a tragedy, he was instantly enraged. His blood energy surged. In just a short moment, these tragedies happened. Lin Jiufeng instantly rushed into the sky and began to kill. A lamp rushed out of his body. Dawn! The light of the homes directly illuminated the beautiful and resplendent lights in all directions. They surged out in all directions, avoiding the powerhouses of the mortal realm, and directly burned the warriors of the 7 races of the ancient age. The light of the homes that grew up with Lin Jiufeng truly released an absolutely terrifying power for the first time. Even immortal kings would be burned to ashes by the light of the homes. The general appointing platform was also thrown out by Lin Jiufeng, allowing him to fight on his own. Lin Jiufeng himself held the sword of the Holy Church and the immortal slaying sword and started a massacre. Pooh! In the sky, an incomparably sharp spear directly froze an immortal king in the mortal realm. Blood splattered on the immortal king's white clothes. It was so shocking. Seeing this, Lin Jiufeng immediately charged over. The sword of the Holy Church waved a peerlessly ferocious sword energy that cut through the sky. It killed 10 warriors of the 7 races of the ancient age in succession, and finally struck the body of the cultivator wielding the spear. Clang! The iron clothes of this cultivator with the spear released a cold light. He actually blocked Lin Jiufeng's ferocious sword energy. He turned his head, his eyes even more cold and intense. The spear in his hand was suddenly pulled out. Ignoring the dying immortal king, he directly stabbed forcefully at Lin Jiufeng. Bloody-eyed from killing, he actually wanted to fight with Lin Jiufeng. Lin Jiufeng ignored him and pressed forward. The immortal slaying sword in his hand was cold and oppressive. Cold light shot in all directions. When it passed by this cultivator of the 7 races of the ancient age, a sword light streaked across. A simple sword light. After passing through, Lin Jiufeng didn't even look at him. He quickly killed his way to other places. Only the expression of the cultivator from the 7 races of the ancient age changed. He finally sensed how powerful the energy contained in this simple sword light was. He finally witnessed how terrifying Lin Jiufeng was. He wanted to escape, he was shouting for help. But in the process of escaping, he was horrified to discover that his body suddenly couldn't move. Every piece of skin had been cut into many pieces. Then, with a bang, his entire body transformed into a pool of blood. It was only at this moment that he understood that when Lin Jiufeng slashed out that sword light, he no longer had any life in him. "Grandpa, save me!" A hoarse roar that sounded as his primordial spirit pleading for help reverberated in this area. "Who is it? Who killed my grandson?" At this moment, an immortal emperor of the 7 races of the ancient age appeared on the battlefield. He scanned the surroundings and shouted in the sky. In his hand was a butcher's blade stained with blood. He had killed countless cultivators in the mortal realm. "It's me!" Lin Jiufeng shouted coldly. The sword energies around him rushed into the sky. They swept across the area. Under the stirring of the immortal slaying sword and the sword of the Holy Church, blood splashed and pieces of flesh flew. He killed a path of blood and directly rushed in front of this immortal emperor of the 7 races of the ancient age. Without saying anything, he directly waved the immortal slaying sword and slashed down. Rumble! The dazzling sword light made the world dim in comparison. Lin Jiufeng ignored the other party's butcher knife at all, and also ignored the other party's strength at the immortal emperor realm. He directly rushed over, just like killing his grandson. The immortal slaying sword streaked across and cut off his head. In an instant, blood waves rushed into the sky. The headless corpse of an immortal emperor fell from the sky, blood flowing out. The divine soul of this immortal emperor immediately wanted to rush out and reform his body, regenerating his flesh and blood. But the wisp of fire that floated over from the light of the homes directly burned his divine soul, not giving him a chance. Lin Jiufeng's unscrupulous massacre and shocking combat strength made the cultivators of the 7 races of the ancient age list him as an extremely dangerous person. Attack together and kill him. 7 immortal emperor powerhouses came together at this moment. They felt how powerful Lin Jiufeng was and wanted to join forces to kill him. But even though the 7 of them came together, they still underestimated Lin Jiufeng. Facing the 7 immortal emperors, Lin Jiufeng's expression didn't change at all. Instead, his fighting spirit became increasingly surging. "Come, 7 of you aren't enough to resist one strike from me," Lin Jiufeng shouted coldly. The sword of the Holy Church and the immortal slaying sword slashed out together. A terrifying sword energy crossed at this moment, forming an X shape. It flew out and directly swept through all the enemies along the way. Fist of the Epic. Following that, Lin Jiufeng executed the great Tao that he had comprehended. At this moment, the great Tao of the era froze the 7 immortal emperors. Lin Jiufeng rushed over and threw out the Fist of the Epic. The 7 immortal emperors were instantly shattered into pieces by him. Even their souls couldn't escape. They were captured and kneaded together by Lin Jiufeng. Their consciousnesses were wiped out, leaving only pure energy. Then, they were sent into the body of the General Appointing Platform. The injured magic treasure body of the General Appointing Platform was replenished by this energy. It also recovered some of its former powerful strength and became more and more valiant in this battle plague. As for Lin Jiufeng, the flames of war raged around him. There were shouts of killing everywhere in the mortal realm. He was slaughtering the cultivators of the 7 races of the ancient age, instantly causing a huge commotion. A king lord immediately noticed Lin Jiufeng. It was because Lin Jiufeng's battle results were too powerful. 7 immortal emperors besieged Lin Jiufeng, but they were all killed in the blink of an eye. This wasn't the strength of an immortal emperor anymore. Seeing how fearless Lin Jiufeng was, Ancestral Peak's face sank. "I didn't expect that there would actually be a talent like you in the mortal realm. It's a pity that you were born too late. If you were given another 500 years, there would be another king lord in the mortal realm," Ancestral Peak said coldly. In the very next moment, he pointed a finger. Surging energy directly penetrated the sky and earth. In this finger, Lin Jiufeng saw spells, divine powers, battle techniques. Countless powers interweaved together. The light was gorgeous and directly drowned him. The power of a king realm is still difficult to resist. Lin Jiufeng waved the immortal slaying sword in the sword of the Holy Church, trying his best to resist, but he still felt that it was very strenuous. Lin Jiufeng, who could kill other immortal emperors like killing a chicken, found it extremely strenuous to withstand a finger from a king lord. From this, one could see the huge gap between the immortal emperor realm and the king lord realm. Boom! Right at this moment, Emperor Ming suddenly appeared in front of Lin Jiufeng and raised his hand. 30 war swords swept across the sky, and a resplendent light rushed into the sky, instantly causing the sun, moon, and stars to tremble. The 30 war swords shattered this strike of the ancient race. Then, they collapsed and transformed into a resplendent rain of swords that scattered down, suppressing all the warriors of the 7 races of the ancient age. Each drop of sword rain pierced through a warrior of the 7 races of the ancient age and killed in all directions. At this moment, a shower of blood flew in the sky, dyeing half the sky red. At this moment, life was so fragile and insignificant. In front of a king lord, no matter how many people there were, it was just a number. Broken limbs and corpses constantly fell, turning the mortal realm into an arena of death. Tens of thousands of people were killed, including 5 immortal emperors. Their bodies and souls were wiped out. Emperor Ming's move was earth-shattering, shocking everyone. Everyone was shocked. The overwhelming advantage of a king lord directly made them despair. But the powerhouses of the mortal realm cheered because this king lord was from the mortal realm. But it was only this one strike. When Ancestral Peak was about to fight back, Emperor Ming directly reached out and tore through the sky, disappearing into the mortal realm with him. This was the choice Emperor Ming made to prevent Ancestral Peak from brazenly attacking and eliminating the living forces of the mortal realm. Without the king lords, the mortal realm would be Lin Jiufeng's battlefield. He gripped the 2 swords tightly. His eyes were blood red, and his heart was filled with endless killing intent. Chapter 449 Invincible Lin Jiufeng. At this moment, Lin Jiufeng was like a cold-blooded demon king. He held the sword with both hands and started a massacre in the mortal realm. The departure of the King Lords resulted in Lin Jiufeng's invincibility in the mortal realm. The already defeated mortal realm had a new turn because of Lin Jiufeng. When the Immortal King and Immortal Emperor powerhouses of the mortal realm saw Lin Jiufeng's brave performance, their fighting spirits were all ignited. In the starry sky, the battle between Emperor Yuan and Xuanhuang continued. Emperor Yuan was very powerful. He had integrated with the primordial spirit of his predecessors who had once died in battle and was fighting very fiercely with Xuanhuang. The two of them could be considered to be powerhouses in the King Lord realm. Xuanhuang executed the power of origin, and Emperor Yuan also summoned the light of the 9 states. Neither side could gain an upper hand. The battle between the two affected the vast starry sky, causing the stars to collapse and the primal chaos to overflow, causing the mortal realm and the spell realm to tremble together. On the other side, Emperor Ming tore through space and forcefully isolated himself an ancestral peak from the mortal realm. Their battle happened in a strange world, it wouldn't affect the mortal realm. Whereas, turtle armor helped the mortal realm greatly too. Among the 7 races of the ancient age, there was still outer heaven remaining. After turtle armor defeated great destruction, it took the initiative to look for outer heaven to stop him from attacking the mortal realm. Hence, the mortal realm became the battlefield of the immortal kings and immortal emperors. And on this battlefield, the king was Lin Jiufeng. All of you must die. Lin Jiufeng's voice was bone-chilling. He was still unafraid even when facing endless enemies. Everyone in the 7 races of the ancient age knew that the only person supporting the mortal realm now was immortal Emperor Lin. As long as they defeated him, the mortal realm would be wiped out. Hence, at this moment, the powerhouses of the 7 races of the ancient age all rushed straight for Lin Jiufeng. A peak immortal emperor powerhouse holding a 7-colored holy tree swept out ferociously. In an instant, 7-colored light illuminated the world. This 7-colored light could freeze a person in the air, making them unable to move. This was a great mystique technique from the dragon race. The dragon race was conquered by the 7 races of the ancient age. Their various mystique techniques were also learned by the 7 races of the ancient age. Hence, this 7-colored divine tree froze Lin Jiufeng in the very next moment. More than 10 immortal emperors attacked together. Powerful energy directly struck Lin Jiufeng. Boom! 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 These dozen or so immortal emperors attacked with their full strength at the first moment. They didn't want to give Lin Jiufeng any chance of survival at all. Surging power blasted over. A blade that was as resplendent as light slashed over, and the magic treasures that could shock the world directly smashed down. Lin Jiufeng was fixed in the air by the dragon race's great mystique technique and couldn't escape. At this moment, he had no intention of escaping. Do you guys think that you can do whatever you want just because you guys have frozen me? Let me tell you, I'm invincible in the immortal emperor realm. Even if more than 10 immortal emperors come, I will still kill you guys. In hell, you guys can only blame your own bad luck. Lin Jiufeng's voice was cold. It was as if an ice river had descended and the entire world was frozen. Even though he was frozen in place, he still felt like he was controlling everything. His body lost its flesh and blood at this moment, and his appearance became completely crystallized. In his body, every cell was a crystal divine kingdom that contained endless energy and the former great Tao of the mortal realm. After activating all the crystal divine kingdoms, Lin Jiufeng felt that he had the strength of a king lord too. Click, click, click. He reached out and grabbed. The sealed void shattered with a bang, like a weak mirror that couldn't withstand a single blow. At this moment, his body was invincible. Lin Jiufeng stared at everything around him. A thought that he could destroy everything and also create everything rose in his heart. He could grab the sky and also lift the ground with one hand. This was his mentality of invincibility at this moment. Boom! 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 The powerful energies of the dozen or so immortal emperors smashed onto Lin Jiufeng's body, causing millions of light and vast energies to splash. It was like a huge wave that rose from the sea, impacting everything in a radius of millions of miles. Countless people screamed in pain. There were also countless people watching closely. Everyone wanted to see who would win, Emperor Lin of the human race or the immortal emperors of the 7 races of the ancient age. This battle concerned the fate of the mortal realm. They couldn't help but be nervous. The people of the 7 races of the ancient age were also watching them. They had to admit that Lin Jiufeng was the #1 person below the King Lord realm. If they couldn't kill Lin Jiufeng now, the mortal realm wouldn't be able to be wiped out without the help of a King Lord. Boom! And at this moment, a domineering voice reverberated in the sky. Break! Lin Jiufeng's body exerted strength. In his body, the crystal divine kingdoms supplied endless energy that directly burst out. It transformed into a spinning black hole that swallowed the powerful energy that was shot out by more than 10 immortal emperor powerhouses. It absorbed and rotated before finally being devoured by Lin Jiufeng. The people of the world were dumbfounded. Lin Jiufeng, who was surrounded and attacked by more than 10 immortal emperors, was actually unscathed. Instead, he opened his mouth and swallowed their terrifying energy. You guys beat me up happily. Now, it's my turn to fight back. Lin Jiufeng pressed his mouth and smiled, his eyes cold. Great epic divine fist. All the worlds and millions of great Tao are in my palm. At this moment, Lin Jiufeng only made a simple grab. His huge hand seemed to be holding the life veins of the world. Countless immortal kings and immortal emperors were held in the air by him at this moment, wailing. The immortal king grade magic treasures and immortal emperor magic treasures were destroyed with cracking sounds. Any resistance seemed powerless and pale under the great Tao of the epic. Even peak immortal emperor powerhouses were shocked by Lin Jiufeng's current powerful appearance. This person was too terrifying as a king lord. In front of him, they really had no power to fight back at all. Lin Jiufeng clenched his large hand. The great Tao of the epic erupted. An immortal emperor was caught off guard and directly shattered, like a porcelain doll. There were also immortal emperors who wanted to escape. They spat out large mouthfuls of blood, wanting to distance themselves from Lin Jiufeng and the mortal realm. But at this moment, Lin Jiufeng only flicked his finger and shot out a wisp of the light of an epic. From millions of miles away, the fire of the other party's primordial spirit was instantly extinguished by Lin Jiufeng. If you guys want to destroy this era easily, you have to ask me first, Lin Jiufeng said coldly. He strode forward like a dragon and a tiger. His body trembled, and his 5 fingers spread open, forming a force that could capture the sky. Wherever he passed, the immortal emperors collapsed one after another. At this moment, the densely packed cultivators of the 7 races of the ancient age in the sky were reduced to ashes in large patches. Like sand, they instantly disappeared with the wind. None of the people who had entered the mortal realm, including the dozens of immortal emperor powerhouses, escaped this calamity. They all turned into dust. This shocking outcome shocked the entire mortal realm and all the battlefields. At first, there was a dead silence. Then, everyone confirmed that the mortal realm was saved. The cries and shouts sounded again. Lin Jiufeng's powerful and terrifying might save the mortal realm. But the losses of the mortal realm were still huge and tragic. Those people who had lost their families, their elders, and their loved ones looked at the devastated land, watched their once beautiful home burn, and watched familiar people die in front of them. This grief was indescribable. Lin Jiufeng stood in the sky and watched all of this with a lonely expression. Beside him, the sword of the Holy Church and the immortal slaying sword automatically rotated. Although it seemed that he had defeated the attack of the 7 races of the ancient age, in reality, Lin Jiufeng knew that this matter was far from over. But the mortal realm couldn't hold on anymore. The powerhouses that belonged to the mortal realm suffered heavy casualties. Even for the immortal kings and immortal emperors he brought here from the death realm, there were also just a few of them left. Hence, although the mortal realm won the current battlefield, Lin Jiufeng didn't dare to relax. His heart was still heavy. Because he knew that what truly decided the life and death of the mortal realm wasn't him, but the few king lords who were fighting. I have to break through to the king realm as soon as possible. Lin Jiufeng swore in his heart. He felt that he was too weak. Blocked the attack of the 7 races of the ancient age once. Do you wish to sign in? These long-lost words appeared before Lin Jiufeng's eyes. Chapter 450. Big Brother Lin Jiufeng didn't expect to be able to sign in because of this battle. Of course, he didn't refuse. His current strength was very awkward. In the Immortal Emperor realm, he was invincible, but when he encountered a King Lord, he was still not a match. Hence, Lin Jiufeng needed to become stronger. He wouldn't reject any chance of signing in. Sign in, Lin Jiufeng said solemnly. He was very curious about what he could obtain from signing in this time. Moreover, the difficulty of signing in this time was even greater than before. What could he sign in for at the price of a catastrophe in the mortal realm? Lin Jiufeng was looking forward to it. Sign in successful. Received Immortal Killing Sword. A treasured sword. Lin Jiufeng was stunned. Then, he remembered that the immortal slaying sword in his hand was the same type as this immortal killing sword. It's recorded in the ancient writings that there was a sword array in the ancient era called the immortal slaying sword array. Together with the four swords, they formed a killing array with boundless might. For swords, the immortal slaying sword, the immortal killing sword, the ultimate immortal sword, the immortal trapping sword, and the immortal slaying array blueprint. Together, they represent the ultimate attack power. Previously, I signed in for the immortal slaying sword. Now, I have the immortal killing sword. There are only 2 swords left from the 4 swords, plus a blueprint. As long as I can sign in or find the remaining 2 swords and add the array blueprint, I will be able to fight a King Lord head-on at the Immortal Emperor realm. Lin Jiufeng pondered continuously. He reached out and gripped the air. A treasured sword that resembled the immortal killing sword appeared in his palm. Immortal Killing Sword. After the appearance of the Immortal Killing Sword, there was immediately a chemical reaction between it and the Immortal Slaying Sword, as if they were biological brothers meeting. Lin Jiufeng put away the sword of the Holy Church. With the Immortal Slaying Sword in one hand and the Immortal Killing Sword in the other, he stood in the air and looked down at the mortal realm. This land was already devastated at this moment. Corpses were piled up like mountains and blood flowed into the sea. But the battle in the mortal realm wasn't really over. Lin Jiufeng looked up at the starry sky. There were 2 king lords fighting in the starry sky. Emperor Yuan and Xuanhuang. Their battle would truly decide the fate of the mortal realm. Boom! Accompanied by a loud sound, the light between the 2 of them became resplendent. This was a competition of divine strength, a huge collision of spiritual consciousness. Without a doubt, they were in a life-and-death battle. Amidst the dazzling light, they both flew out, erupting with a large string of blood that destroyed dozens of stars in the surroundings. It was unknown whose blood it was. Emperor Yuan, who had gathered the remnant souls of the past powerhouses into one, fought endlessly with Xuanhuang, who was at the peak of the 7 races of the ancient age. In the vast universe and stars, their combat strength would rise infinitely. One strike would definitely shake the world, and they were both attacking ruthlessly because they already knew each other's strength. The troops of the 7 races of the ancient age that attacked the mortal realm have been wiped out. Your plan to sweep through the mortal realm this time has failed, Emperor Yuan said coldly. Although he was fighting a life-and-death battle, he still noticed the current situation of the mortal realm. He also saw Lin Jiufeng killing in all directions and looking invincible. Emperor Yuan was very gratified. Big Brother was indeed Big Brother. Due to some fortuitous circumstances and reasons, he became the chosen one. He inherited the remnant souls of the past sages and leaped to become a King Lord. He originally thought that his big brother would only be at the Immortal King realm now. But who would have thought that his big brother would actually reach the Immortal Emperor realm and be invincible in the Immortal Emperor realm? As long as I kill you, the mortal realm will be wiped out. They are just ants to me. Xuanhuang didn't care at all. He didn't take the army of the 7 races of the ancient age that attacked the mortal realm seriously at all. In every era when they wanted to destroy the mortal realm, the 7 races of the ancient age had to pay a price. These costs were acceptable to them. The survival of the fittest. The 7 races of the ancient age also used this opportunity to send those incompetent people from their respective races who didn't have a great destiny, great opportunities, and great comprehension ability to the battlefield and let them undergo a transformation. Just like nurturing parasite worms, tens of millions of parasite worms fought together and finally nurtured the most poisonous one. Hence, Xuanhuang's emotion wasn't affected at all when the troops that attacked the mortal realm were wiped out. He had experienced too many such things in his long life and was long used to them. If one doesn't become a king lord, one will ultimately still be an ant. Even if there are invincible existences among immortal emperors in the mortal realm, they are just larger ants in my eyes. After I finish you, I will just kill him with a flick of my finger, Xuanhuang said coldly. Having experienced countless wars, Xuanhuang knew very well that wars were life and death battles. In the process of life and death battles, one mustn't be distracted. One had to focus on killing the opponent in order to deal with the subsequent matters. Xuanhuang's tall body was comparable to the sky at this moment. The light that shone from his palm burst out with the power of origin. It was like a mountain and the great Tao was like the sky, extending in front of him. Origin God Fist, shatter everything. All the worlds are in the palm of my hand. Xuanhuang shouted. Behind him, an incomparably distant world appeared. This world was connected to this place. There were countless mountains, and everywhere was an immortal realm. The source of truth burst out. Huge and majestic cities were crawling on the ground. When one took a closer look, they were simply even more majestic and magnificent than the entire mortal realm. The area was vast and was another world. The aura of this world communicated seamlessly with Xuanhuang, providing this thick power to him. Almost in an instant, his strength increased by several times. It's time for everything to end. This farce is disgusting. You rats hide here and there, but in the end, you still have no way of shaking the foundation of the 7 races of the ancient age, Xuanhuang said coldly. His expression and attitude appeared to be in a fixed state at this moment. He absorbed the energy of the mysterious world behind him and let him punch out. The ages fell and he truly struck out the end of the world. Seeing this, Emperor Yuan's heart sank. The forces of the mortal realm are still too weak, Emperor Yuan said indignantly. They created 2 king lords through integration and stitching. Emperor Yuan and Emperor Ming were chosen to integrate and become the king lords that protected the mortal realm. However, even when counting turtle armor, they only had 3 king lords. There was still no solution to deal with the 7 races of the ancient age. Ignite my body and not enter the cycle of reincarnation. Spark of life. At this moment, Emperor Yuan burned his core and forcefully activated a power that far exceeded his control. It had integrated with the remnant souls of countless powerhouses. The power left behind by these powerhouses was very terrifying when stacked together, but Emperor Yuan's spiritual energy could only control it to this extent. It was beyond his control. Once he lost control, the consequences would be mutual destruction. Emperor Yuan had never used this portion of his strength before. He felt that he could wait a little longer. But now that Xuanhuang had unveiled the true world of the 7 races of the ancient age and absorbed its power from inside, it was no longer something that he could suppress. He needed strength. He was willing to contribute. He was willing to sacrifice himself. Hence, at this moment, Emperor Yuan's body instantly expanded, almost comparable to a star. He activated the power left behind by the remnant souls of all the powerhouses in his body. In an instant, he gained 33 times his original combat strength. The sky instantly darkened. Emperor Yuan strode forward, his body trembling. His 5 fingers spread into a terrifying aura that directly pressed down. Rumble. A terrifying power cleansed the stars of the universe. Originally, Emperor Yuan's strength was already extraordinary. Now that he had increased his combat strength by 33 times, he could almost become one of the top king lords. The vital energy in his body could only support him in executing such strength for 3 minutes. 3 minutes later, Emperor Yuan, who had burned everything, would die. Hence, Emperor Yuan had to kill Xuanhuang within 3 minutes and then leave a backup plan for the mortal realm. You actually activated everything. Do you not want to live anymore? Xuanhuang originally thought that him opening the true world of the 7 races of the ancient age and gaining several times its strength from inside was already considered very crazy, but when he personally witnessed Emperor Yuan burning everything and instantly obtaining 33 times his original combat strength, Xuanhuang was dumbfounded. Even if I don't burn everything, I will still be killed by you in the end. The mortal realm will also decline. In that case, I might as well kill you first and die with you. Emperor Yuan's voice was cold, like the arrival of an ice river. The world was frozen everywhere. It was no longer easy for him to control all his strength to make subtle changes. His combat strength was 33 times, making him feel that he had almost surpassed the King Lord realm. With one strike, he destroyed everything. Lunatic, you are really a lunatic. Xuanhuang trembled. He didn't expect Emperor Yuan to be so crazy. He wasn't afraid of fighting, he wasn't afraid of death, but he wasn't willing to be pulled into the water by a lunatic like this. At this moment, Emperor Yuan's condition couldn't be maintained for long. As long as he dodged Emperor Yuan's attacks for the time being, he would still be able to defeat Emperor Yuan. Xuanhuang stopped attacking. He turned around, wanting to escape. He wanted to avoid Emperor Yuan's 3 minutes. You want to escape? Impossible. You will definitely die here today. Emperor Yuan's attitude was incomparably arrogant. With 33 times his combat strength, he truly punched out, enveloping the starry sky and cutting off Xuanhuang's escape route. Rumble. Xuanhuang's escape route was blocked, and he couldn't escape. He could turn around and forcefully receive Emperor Yuan's attack. Boom! Boom! The huge impact directly caused Xuanhuang's body to explode, transforming into a gorgeous streak of light. Only Xuanhuang's powerful will was left roaring and letting out a tragic cry. This is impossible. I don't believe it. You can't control 33 times the combat strength at all. How can you be fine? It's a pity that I didn't cultivate the power of origin to a high level. Otherwise, I could have summoned the power of origin and wiped you out. Xuanhuang's powerful primordial spirit power was trying its best to repair his body, coming back to life from his exploded body. But his vital energy had already been greatly damaged. He wanted to escape. If he stayed here for even a second longer, he would feel that it was very dangerous. Emperor Yuan was crazy and wanted to die with him. He was unwilling. You can't leave. Emperor Yuan's expression remained calm and cold. The huge amount of energy in his body drew a perfect taiji in his palm. This was the great Tao of Yin-Yang Tai Chi, directly obliterating Xuanhuang's reformed body once again. A Tai Chi Yin-Yang image appeared in the starry sky. One black and one white interweaved together, emitting powerful and terrifying energy to suppress Xuanhuang. Xuanhuang's body was destroyed. His primordial spirit wanted to do the same thing again, but the Yin-Yang image didn't give him the chance. The taiji symbol directly sucked in Xuanhuang's primordial spirit. Then, it slowly shrank and appeared in Emperor Yuan's palm, trembling non-stop. Xuanhuang seemed to want to break through the air and fly away. He roared and struggled inside, fighting for his life hysterically. Because he knew that if he didn't go all out, he would be pulled down by Emperor Yuan and die with him. You lunatic, you stitched-up piece of trash. You actually dare to suppress me and drag me to die with you? How dare you? Xuanhuang was flustered and exasperated, struggling on the verge of death. But Emperor Yuan opened his mouth and spat out a ball of ferocious flames that infused into the taiji symbol. It immediately burned Xuanhuang, causing him to cry out continuously. This is the black-yellow fire. You actually have the black-yellow fire. Could it be that there's actually a king who has transcended the black-yellow fire in your soul? Xuanhuang screamed in disbelief. It's all over. I'm a dead person, to begin with. I'm satisfied with coming back to life and bringing you to death with me. Before I die, I will definitely burn you to death, Emperor Yuan said coldly. In this evenly matched battle, as both sides used all their trump cards, Emperor Yuan ultimately won. But this victory was a little tragic. But Emperor Yuan had no time to feel sad and lament fate. He immediately put away the Yin-Yang Taiji and returned to the mortal realm. Looking at the devastated and torn mortal realm where rivers of blood flowed, Emperor Yuan sighed. Then, he stood in front of Lin Jiufeng. Lin Jiufeng looked at Emperor Yuan with a slightly complicated gaze. He didn't know if the person in front of him who had reached the king realm was his younger brother or the soul of another powerhouse from the ancient era. Hence, Lin Jiufeng watched silently. Emperor Yuan also saw Lin Jiufeng. He was still the same as back then. His bearing was calm and he had the bearing of a grandmaster. Big brother, you still haven't changed. Emperor Yuan took a deep breath, then smiled and said. Lin Jiufeng's eyes instantly became more amiable. A smile also appeared on his face. Long time no see. Should I call you younger brother, Emperor Yuan, or something else? Lin Jiufeng asked with a smile. Either is fine. Be it your younger brother, Emperor Yuan of the Unrivalled God Dynasty, or the King Lord who was integrated with countless ancient remnant souls, they are essentially the same person, a person with only an older brother as his one relative, Emperor Yuan said softly. In front of Lin Jiufeng, he no longer had the aura of a King Lord. Lin Jiufeng looked at him. Suddenly, he stretched out his hands and took a step forward to hug Emperor Yuan. Then, he reached out and patted his back. He said, Welcome home, little brother. Emperor Yuan, who had been dead for more than 100 years, finally returned to the mortal realm. Lin Jiufeng was very happy. He hugged Emperor Yuan tightly. After more than 100 years, the two brothers finally met. The regrets of the past were alleviated today. Big brother, I don't have much time left. Please remember my appearance. If you miss me in the future, bring me a cup of wine to my tomb. I will see it, Emperor Yuan said softly. Lin Jiufeng immediately released him. He stared at Emperor Yuan and asked nervously, What do you mean by that? You just defeated the king of the 7 races of the ancient age. I gave my life to this fight. It's not considered a loss since I won. Emperor Yuan smiled slightly. Lin Jiufeng's expression suddenly changed. He looked at Emperor Yuan, not wanting his younger brother to leave at all. He asked, Is there really no solution at all? Chapter 451 The Eternal Dragon Boat. Lin Jiufeng stared fixedly at Emperor Yuan. He had a bad feeling in his heart. Emperor Yuan smiled and looked at Lin Jiufeng elegantly. He said, The top powerhouse of the 7 races of the ancient age, Xuanhuang, has already been killed by me. My mission has basically been completed. I brought a trace of hope to this mortal realm. Although it can't avoid being destroyed in the end, I've tried my best. Lin Jiufeng's heart sank infinitely. He looked at Emperor Yuan, not knowing what to say. The meeting between the brothers was brief. After this meeting, they would be parted forever. How much time do you have? Lin Jiufeng suppressed the sadness in his heart and asked. 3 minutes. Emperor Yuan looked up at the sky and said in a carefree attitude. Only 3 minutes? Lin Jiufeng murmured. 3 minutes is enough. Emperor Yuan smiled and patted Lin Jiufeng's shoulder. In my memory, a senior once spoke to a mayfly. He asked the mayfly, Do you have any regrets in having only a short period of life? Mayfly, I was born at dawn, looking at the sun. I die in the dark night, accompanied by starlight. I have no regrets. Brother, I have no regrets either. Emperor Yuan said firmly. His expression was very firm. Even if he had to sacrifice everything for this short return. Who resurrected you? Who chose you to become the host body of the remnant souls of the past seniors? Lin Jiufeng asked. He really wanted to figure out the many secrets hidden behind this world. Even though he was already invincible in the immortal emperor realm, he still knew very little. I don't know who captured me, nor do I know who chose me, but it doesn't matter. The moment I was resurrected, I knew my mission, Emperor Yuan said. Big brother, everyone has a mission. I'm originally an ordinary emperor of the mortal realm. I've never done anything earth-shattering in my life. I'm very satisfied that I was chosen after I died and can even contribute a little to the human race in this world. Even if I have to constantly suffer the pain of fusing with the remnant souls of the past sages for more than 100 years, just for the glory of this battle, I also have no regrets. Emperor Yuan's eyes were resplendent, filled with the flames of faith. What else do you know? You can tell me. I will protect this world for you, Lin Jiufeng said solemnly. Big brother, I really don't know much. I only know that I must stall the 7 races of the ancient age from destroying the mortal realm this time. I also know that regardless of whether it's the 7 races of the ancient age or the hidden powerhouses of the mortal realm, they don't want to drag this battle to the next era. Therefore, there are countless backup plans waiting for the 7 races of the ancient age. I'm just a pawn. But even so, a pawn also has its uses. My role has already been completed, so I don't have any regrets, Emperor Yuan said. Lin Jiufeng took a deep breath and stopped talking. Emperor Yuan looked at Lin Jiufeng and suddenly hugged him. Big brother, actually along the way, we have long known that the countless eras of the past didn't begin with flowers and applause. In fact, there has never been an era with only flowers and applause. Seek warmth in the cold night and bloom in suffering. This is the difficult path to grow in the mortal realm. When the storm came, we thought that the world was about to collapse. In the fog that filled the sky, we felt that we had already fallen off the cliff M0, but when lightning cuts through the sky and thunder reverberates in the surroundings, we will look up and open our eyes. We will be surprised to discover that the black clouds are dissipating. A flat path cannot lead to a great victory. The 7 races of the ancient age are huge mountains that suppress the hearts of every era. It's very difficult to move the 7 races of the ancient age away and dig them out. But it's exactly because of this that it's exciting and interesting. So don't be afraid and don't be sad. I'm just like the millions of people in the mortal realm who are going first. Big brother, you are a peerless genius, the hope of this era. You are more important than me. Emperor Yuan hugged Lin Jiufeng and said these words in his ear. Then, he released Lin Jiufeng. I don't have much time left. At the last moment, I have to do something for the mortal realm. Emperor Yuan looked up at the starry sky and said. What are you going to do? Lin Jiufeng looked at Emperor Yuan with a complicated expression. The mortal realm only temporarily blocked the attack of the 7 races of the ancient age, but after I leave, the mortal realm couldn't resist the counterattack of the 7 races of the ancient age at all. Therefore, I have to save some seeds for this mortal realm and let them be sent out so that they won't be destroyed along with this world, Emperor Yuan said. So, in the end, we still didn't manage to protect this mortal realm? Lin Jiufeng said sadly. Save the last fire seed and leave this mortal realm to the 7 races of the ancient age. They will definitely give birth to a new race. The mortal realm won't be destroyed. The true battlefield is about to be opened. I don't have much time left, I have to hurry. Big brother, wait for me to summon the eternal dragon boat. You can escape with the geniuses that carry the hope of the mortal realm, Emperor Yuan said leisurely. The eternal dragon boat? Lin Jiufeng was stunned. This name was very familiar. He recalled that there was a figure of the eternal dragon boat in the war between the immortal court and the god race. This was the supreme treasure of the immortal court. Why was it with Emperor Yuan? Lin Jiufeng watched, puzzled. The eternal dragon boat isn't the supreme treasure of the immortal court. Its ownership has never been with the immortal court. It was only controlled by the immortal court for a period of time. After the war between the immortal court and the god race, the eternal dragon boat entered a hidden state and hasn't been awakened until now, Emperor Yuan explained. I see. Lin Jiufeng understood. There are many powerhouses hidden behind this world. The eternal dragon boat was crafted by a human realm powerhouse, right? Lin Jiufeng asked. The eternal dragon boat is a magic treasure forged from the dragon bones of a deceased ancestral dragon. It can travel through space to avoid the pursuit of the 7 races of the ancient age. Emperor Yuan nodded. In the end, what I can do for the mortal realm is to preserve as many fire seeds as possible and keep the fire of hope alive. Big brother, farewell forever. As Emperor Yuan's words fell, his body floated in the air and he arrived in the sky. He used the last of his energy to tear open space and summoned the eternal dragon boat that could only hear and not be seen. Boom! 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 The eternal dragon boat flickered with a yellow light. It was extremely huge, like a floating island. It appeared in the sky above the mortal realm with a rumbling sound. This behemoth was made from the entire body of an ancestral dragon from the dragon race. In addition, it was refined with the full strength of the top powerhouses of the ancient era. It was even made by fusing countless precious materials into it. Woo woo woo! The eternal dragon boat descended into the mortal realm. Its sound shook the sky, and it could cut through the sky in an instant. Finally, the eternal dragon boat descended in front of Lin Jiufeng. Emperor Yuan disappeared. Only his voice reverberated in Lin Jiufeng's ears. Big brother, control the eternal dragon boat and go look for sister-in-law. Lin Jiufeng frowned. Had Emperor Yuan seen Bai Mao before? He had always wanted to find traces of the little white cat. He had even gone to the fourth world, but he found nothing. At the end, when the final battle of the mortal realm arrived, he had no choice but to come back and participate in the battle. The whereabouts of Bai Mao were still unknown. From Emperor Yuan's words, it seemed that he had seen Bai Mao before, but it was a pity that Emperor Yuan had already completely disappeared from this world. Emperor Yuan would no longer exist in the future. Lin Jiufeng looked at the eternal dragon boat that stopped in front of him. His heart was especially heavy. They won this battle, but they still had to escape. Because the strength of the 7 races of the ancient age was too powerful. Moreover, the battle between Turtle Armor and Emperor Ming hadn't ended yet. They only separated the king lords of the 7 races of the ancient age from the mortal realm. Hence, time was pressing. Lin Jiufeng had to hurry. Lin Jiufeng flew onto the eternal dragon boat and stepped on it. Boom! 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 In the very next moment, the terrifying energy in the eternal dragon boat rushed into Lin Jiufeng's body. It was unruly and transformed into the roar of a true dragon. But Lin Jiufeng wasn't afraid. A huge amount of mental energy and the countless array formations formed by the crystal divine kingdoms in his body suppressed down. In an instant, he gained control of the eternal dragon boat. In the very next moment, Lin Jiufeng could mobilize the eternal dragon boat like waving his arm. Of course, this was all thanks to Emperor Yuan. He summoned the eternal dragon boat and also wiped out the soul mark that belonged to someone else. He left behind a pure magic treasure and easily let Lin Jiufeng control this dragon boat. On the eternal dragon boat, Lin Jiufeng looked at the spell realm. Sure enough, the energy in the spell realm was surging and very terrifying. It seemed that the 7 races of the ancient age had really gone all out. There's not much time left. Lin Jiufeng muttered to himself. He felt the huge pressure from the 7 races of the ancient age. In that battle just now, there were 3 king lords in the mortal realm, but they weren't able to withstand the pressure. If it weren't for Emperor Yuan risking his life to pull Sitalanchi along to death, if it weren't for the abnormality, Lin Jiufeng, the mortal realm would have been wiped out already. And at this moment, under the situation of sensing the death of a king lord, the 7 races of the ancient age all came out in full strength. Some terrifying existences that had sealed themselves were also tempted to make a move. Their seals were flickering. Lin Jiufeng looked at the heavily injured mortal realm and knew that he couldn't continue fighting even if they killed the people attacked by the 7 races of the ancient age once again. There would really be no one left in the mortal realm. With this in mind, Lin Jiufeng's expression changed. He roared firmly, "Human realm powerhouses, come with me." In the very next moment, the eternal dragon boat streaked across the sky and quickly patrolled the mortal realm. The eternal dragon boat was huge and could accommodate at least hundreds of thousands of people. If they squeezed, it could even accommodate 1,000,000 people. But how many people were there in the mortal realm? Tens of millions, hundreds of millions, billions? There were countless people in the mortal realm. Hence, Lin Jiufeng needed to choose who to bring with him. Lin Jiufeng had no choice. This was a difficult choice. He was expressionless as he stood on the deck of the eternal dragon boat. With his hands behind his back, he looked at the wailing of the mortal realm and made up his mind. The light of the homes can bring those that the eternal dragon boat can't take away. Lin Jiufeng stretched out his hand and waved. The light of the homes that had always illuminated the mortal realm flew over. The light of the homes had the potential to grow indefinitely. There was also a boundless world inside. Moreover, the crystal divine kingdoms in Lin Jiufeng's body could also accommodate the common people of the mortal realm. When Emperor Yuan was the emperor of the Yuhua God Dynasty back then, he said that he would take good care of the people of the mortal realm. I, Lin Jiufeng, will take away those that the eternal dragon boat cannot take away, Lin Jiufeng said firmly. The eternal dragon boat quickly streaked across the sky. Wherever it passed, Lin Jiufeng's light of the homes would be lit. It began to continuously absorb the common people and cultivators. If the eternal dragon boat couldn't accommodate them, they would enter the world of the light of the homes. If the light of the homes couldn't contain them anymore, they would enter Lin Jiufeng's crystal divine kingdoms. As a result, the common people of the mortal realm were saved. Lin Jiufeng controlled the eternal dragon boat and became the last savior of the mortal realm. The dragon boat advanced rapidly on the ground. Wherever it went, the common people were taken away, leaving only the empty land. The eternal dragon boat also arrived at the Yuhua God Dynasty. In the new Yuhua God Dynasty, there were many common people. With the efforts of several generations of emperors, it had already reached an era of bustling prosperity. The population increased by several times. Although many people died in the attack of the 7 races of the ancient age, there was a huge number left. Here, Lin Jiufeng opened his crystal divine kingdoms. He took in the people of the Yuhua God Dynasty. Here, he also sought Emperor Dai, Princess Yulin's family, and some people that he once knew. Among Princess Yulin's family, the weakest was at the perfected immortal realm. But facing this catastrophe, they felt powerless. When they saw Lin Jiufeng, Emperor Dai and Princess Yulin were excited. The other members of the royal family looked at Lin Jiufeng cautiously and reverently. They had personally witnessed the scene of Lin Jiufeng displaying his might and killing the people of the 7 races. After the publicity, they also knew that this person was their ancestor. How could they not worship him? How could they not be excited? Of course, their worship and excitement were no match for their respect. None of them dared to speak. Only Princess De Yulin dared to speak. Big granduncle, what are you planning to do? Emperor De looked at Lin Jiufeng, who was constantly collecting the common people, and asked curiously. There is no hope for the mortal realm. The power of the 7 races of the ancient age will descend later on. We can't withstand their next attack, so we have to change places. The eternal dragon boat can bring us to a place that the 7 races of the ancient age can't find easily. We can continue to reproduce and cultivate diligently. One day, we will be able to return to this mortal realm, Lin Jiufeng said. Emperor De stopped talking. At this moment, he missed his former talent greatly. In order to manage the Yuhua God Dynasty better, he had already given up on the path of cultivation when he was young. He focused on becoming an emperor who worked diligently and benefited the people. He thought that after he became the emperor, everything could be resolved. But from the looks of it, cultivation was still useful. Big granduncle, where should we go now? Princess Yulin asked. The other members of the royal family looked at Lin Jiufeng. Go to the death realm. Lin Jiufeng's voice was low. He looked at the mountains and seas in the mortal realm, feeling very desolate. Because if he escaped with the common people and the other races of the mortal realm, it was equivalent to giving up on this mortal realm. Giving up meant failure. Although they saved many people, compared to other eras, the mortal realm had the same outcome as them. This era of civilization would end with the departure of Lin Jiufeng. Woo 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 woo. The eternal dragon boat cut through the sky and quickly streaked across the mortal realm. Lin Jiufeng was constantly paying attention to the situation of the spell realm. He had to make the best use of his time and take away all the common people and races of the mortal realm before the 7 races of the ancient age attacked again. Otherwise, what awaited them would be an inhumane massacre. Those immortal king powerhouses who hadn't died in battle in the mortal realm were also put away by Lin Jiufeng and entered the eternal dragon boat. Lin Jiufeng looked at them. Previously, he had brought out more than 1,000 immortal king powerhouses from the death realm, but there were only a few hundred people standing here now. The rest died in this earth-shattering battle. In the crowd, Lin Jiufeng didn't see the 4 powerhouses in the Death Realm who had surpassed the 5-colored skeletons and reached the crystal skeleton level. The 4 city lords were all killed in battle. Lin Jiufeng's heart ached. These people were once living well in the Death Realm. After entering the mortal realm, they fought a huge battle, and in the end, they were returning to the Death Realm. Lin Jiufeng also saw a monk. Monk Xuanhuang Jiatsua. This monk actually didn't die in this battle. Instead, his aura surged and he had the possibility of breaking through to the immortal Emperor realm at any moment. Lin Jiufeng remembered him in his heart. This fellow was worth nurturing. When most of the powerhouses in the mortal realm were gathered, the common people in the mortal realm were also stored in Lin Jiufeng's crystal divine kingdoms. When he passed the last mountain, Lin Jiufeng was surprised to discover that he had encountered a familiar face. Miss Hong. Chapter 452 Entering the Death Realm, Part 1. Lin Jiufeng drove the eternal dragon boat and roamed through the entire mortal realm. He brought the cultivators and ordinary people of the mortal realm with him, wanting to enter the Death Realm together. He didn't expect to encounter his former friend in the end. Miss Hong, the current Miss Hong, still looked elegant and graceful. Time didn't leave any traces on her body. Moreover, her cultivation base had also touched the threshold of the immortal king realm. The eternal dragon boat floated in the sky. It was huge and had a magnificent aura. Lin Jiufeng stood on the dragon boat and looked at the red-robed woman on the distant mountaintop. A smile appeared on his face. After experiencing the war, Lin Jiufeng was surprised that he could still encounter his former good friend. He flew down from the eternal dragon boat and came in front of Miss Hong. Long time no see. Lin Jiufeng looked at Miss Hong and said with emotion. Seeing each other again, Miss Hong didn't know what to say. Previously, when Lin Jiufeng started killing the 7 races in the mortal realm, Miss Hong had already noticed it. Her gaze followed Lin Jiufeng as he killed the enemies and moved with him. Her gaze had never left Lin Jiufeng. Thousands of words stuck in her heart. It transformed into long time no see. Seeing that Miss Hong was alone, Lin Jiufeng asked curiously, "Where's your grandmaster, Elder Universe?" Back then, Elder Universe had returned to the mortal realm. After that, he left with Miss Hong and disappeared. Standing on the mountain peak, a breeze blew past them. Looking down at the devastated land of the war, Miss Hong and Lin Jiufeng stood side by side. She said softly, "After Grandmaster imparted all the cultivation techniques of the Heavenly Tao Sect to me, he left. I don't know where he went either. Everyone took action in this mortal realm catastrophe, but I didn't see any traces of Grandmaster. There's no need to worry. Elder Universe is still alive after experiencing so many trials and tribulations. Nothing will happen to him. He definitely has his own goal in mind." Lin Jiufeng comforted Miss Hong. Miss Hong nodded and didn't speak anymore. Lin Jiufeng looked at her beautiful side profile. There were thousands of words in his heart, but they were all inappropriate. In the end, he said to Miss Hong, "The mortal realm can no longer continue to exist. If the army of the 7 races of the ancient age comes again, no one will be able to withstand it. Come to the death realm with me." Miss Hong nodded. "I also want to enter the death realm and cultivate seriously. I hope to break through to the immortal king realm as soon as possible and even the immortal emperor realm to do my best for this mortal realm." Seeing that Miss Hong had agreed, Lin Jiufeng was relieved. The 7 races of the ancient age would invade at any time. Now wasn't the time to be sentimental. He directly brought Miss Hong into the eternal dragon boat. Then, he drove the eternal dragon boat forward with great magic power. Previously, when Lin Jiufeng entered the death realm again, he signed in for 2 strands of the undying substance. After causing a scene in the spell realm with the space-slashing sword, the primal chaos war spear, and the black tortoise, they used a wisp of the undying substance to escape to the death realm. At this moment, he still had a wisp of the undying substance left. Now was the time to activate it and open the door to the death realm, allowing the eternal dragon boat to bring the powerhouses of the mortal realm into the death realm. Boom! 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 In the sky of the mortal realm, a huge door slowly appeared. The depths of this door were filled with the aura of death. An ancient well could vaguely be seen standing there. Beside the ancient well was a bone crocodile that was sleeping soundly. Crocodile Ancestor. In the death realm, beside the well of heaven ascension, Crocodile Ancestor was sleeping soundly. There seems to be another war in the mortal realm. This era is about to be destroyed. That damn immortal Emperor Lin is finally going to be buried with this era. That's retribution for bullying me. It's safer in the death realm. No matter how much the outside world fights, they won't be able to reach me. The Crocodile Ancestor thought beautifully. But at this moment, a huge black hole suddenly appeared beside the well of heaven ascension. It woke the Crocodile Ancestor up, and it watched with wide eyes. No way, you're doing it again? The Crocodile Ancestor's soul fire was trembling. It thought of something bad. The person he didn't want to see seemed to have returned again. Boom! 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 This time, it wasn't just Lin Jiufeng who came in. He drove the Eternal Dragon Boat to the Death Realm and tore through the sky. The Eternal Dragon Boat entered the door of the Death Realm and then came to the Death Realm. CO, are you kidding me? Not only did you not come alone, but you also brought so many people with you? The Crocodile Ancestor complained in its heart, very dissatisfied. But in the very next moment, when Lin Jiufeng looked at him, the Crocodile Ancestor immediately squeezed out a smile and said, "Welcome to the Death Realm, Immortal Emperor Lin. Your presence really graces the Death Realm." Lin Jiufeng smiled slightly. He stood on the Eternal Dragon Boat and said to the Crocodile Ancestor, "The situation in the mortal realm is already irreversible. At the end of this era, I will spread the hope of the mortal realm to the Death Realm. Continue to guard the well of heaven ascension and don't let anyone pass through here." When the Crocodile Ancestor heard this, its heart instantly relaxed. It was fine as long as they didn't disturb it. Immortal Emperor Lin, do whatever you want. In any case, the Death Realm is very empty. With more people, it will be more prosperous. The Crocodile Ancestor carefully squeezed out a smile and said words that went against its conscience. It was really afraid of Lin Jiufeng. Lin Jiufeng didn't say much to the Crocodile Ancestor. The Death Realm didn't belong to the Crocodile Ancestor either. It was just guarding the well of heaven ascension. Driving the Eternal Dragon Boat, Lin Jiufeng directly passed through the huge wasteland and saw the huge Yin River. The surging river water let out a furious roar. The water in the river seemed to weigh 10,000 kilograms. Once touched by the water, one wouldn't be able to fly. The water of the Yin River was yellow and suffused with dense death energy. The death energy was richer than anywhere else. The surging river water was mixed with death energy. It was vast, earth-shattering, and filled with a baleful aura. This was the most famous symbol of the Death Realm. Chapter 453 Entering the Death Realm, Part 2, Lin Jiufeng drove the Eternal Dragon Boat far away from the Yin River. In the place where the 5-colored skeletons once lived, he released all the powerhouses and common people of the mortal realm. From the mortal realm to the Death Realm, many ordinary people didn't know what had happened at all. They trembled and looked at the ground that was covered in bones around them, bewildered. Lin Jiufeng found Emperor Di and said to him, "It's a different world now. These common people still need you to lead them and move forward together. In this Death Realm, you can rebuild the Unrivalled God Dynasty and manage the ordinary people. You can cultivate the land with them, build houses, cities, and homes." Emperor Di nodded. "I will do it. Building a new country on these ruins with the support of Big Grand Uncle will definitely not be a problem." Lin Jiufeng patted his shoulder and said, "As long as you take good care of these common people and continue your grandfather and father's ideals, even if the mortal realm is destroyed, the Unrivalled God Dynasty can still be reborn in the Death Realm. The powerful cultivators here will also help you." Emperor Di knew that he had neglected his cultivation in the past. Although he had picked it up now, he had no hope of becoming a top powerhouse in his life. Perhaps becoming an immortal was his limit. But this didn't stop him from doing more for the people of the mortal realm. After communicating with Lin Jiufeng, Emperor Di began to organize people to manage the ordinary people with the officials of the former Xuanhuang God Dynasty. Then, he asked the top cultivators to draw the land and build cities, clean the land, and plant food. In just a few days, the Death Realm actually flourished. Cities rose from the ground one after another, and large patches of wasteland were cultivated. Food was planted, and the world was changed. The common people of the mortal realm also knew to seize the opportunity, and various cultivation sects were also established. In this death realm, different races of the mortal realm survived tenaciously in the same way. After experiencing the scene of the 7 races of the ancient age slaughtering the mortal realm, these different races united together under the framework of the Xuanhuang God Dynasty. The division of labor was clear. All the major cultivation sects took out the secret manuals stored in their sections. They made copies of the secret manuals and opened them to everyone. As for those truly top powerhouses, they all found places to cultivate in seclusion. In this mortal realm battle, they clearly knew how big the gap between them and the 7 races of the ancient age was. Powerhouses at the immortal king realm and above were all cultivating seriously. They didn't want to escape in such a sorry state again. Seeing this scene, Lin Jiufeng nodded in satisfaction. It wasn't in vain that he brought all the races in the mortal realm to the death realm. It was fine if the mortal realm was lost, but the battle with the 7 races of the ancient age still depended on the future. The mortal realm. After Lin Jiufeng took away all the lives in the mortal realm, the army of the 7 races of the ancient age descended once again. This time, the 7 races of the ancient age awakened a sleeping ancestor and descended into the mortal realm under the leadership of Great Destruction. But all they saw was an empty mortal realm. The ancestor of the 7 races of the ancient age closed his eyes and scanned the world with his spiritual will. After a short second, he opened his eyes and said with a gloomy expression, "All intelligent life forms have disappeared. This mortal realm has been abandoned by them." The others frowned and tried their best to find the auras of other worlds. Great Destruction was almost killed by Emperor Yuan. He was lucky enough to survive after escaping back to the spell realm. At this moment, he had returned to take revenge, but the empty world stunned him. It must be that person called Immortal Emperor Lin. He knows where the death realm is. He definitely brought everyone in the mortal realm to the death realm, Great Destruction hurriedly said, feeling indignant. He had personally witnessed Lin Jiufeng open the death realm's door and escape from him. The death realm. The eyes of the awakened ancestor of the 7 races of the ancient age widened. He felt that it was incredible and asked, "Those remnants really created the death realm?" "Big brother, why would I lie to you? I saw it with my own eyes. It's that mortal realm cultivator called Immortal Emperor Lin. He holds the key to opening the door of the death realm," Great Destruction hurriedly said. "Capture him and find the key to open the death realm." "We definitely can't let them develop the death realm," the awakened ancestor said coldly, placing this matter on Great Destruction. "I will definitely do my best to catch him and find the location of the death realm," Great Destruction said through gritted teeth. This awakened ancestor looked at the empty mortal realm and said with an indifferent expression, "The mortal realm has been the farm of the 7 races of the ancient age since ancient times. In various eras, after the horses are fattened, it will be time for us to harvest them. I thought that the mortal realm would be easy this time, but I didn't expect this group of horses to actually escape. What's the use of this empty mortal realm?" In the very next moment, this awakened King Lord reached out and tapped. Boom! The mortal realm quickly collapsed and withered. Everything in this era was slowly wiped out with this finger. Not long after, everything would disappear. Find that cultivator in the mortal realm and ask him where the death realm is. When the death realm is in our hands, we shall start the next era, this person said coldly. Great Destruction immediately nodded. Although they were both king lords, in front of the other party, Great Destruction was just a lackey. The awakened ancestor looked into the depths of the universe. This era is so sloppy, but it also forced me to recover. In that case, I shall go to the wasteland and kill all those remnants who are resisting tenaciously. These flies have lived for too long. Chapter 454 Entering the Death Realm, Part 3. In the very next moment, he stretched out his hand and a spatial crack appeared. At the end of the crack was an incomparably mysterious ruin. It was also the end of all the previous worlds. This awakened ancestor strode in, leaving behind great destruction and the army of the 7 races of the ancient age to watch the empty mortal realm. The mortal realm was collapsing. They couldn't stay for too long. Go back, great destruction said aggrievely. He originally wanted to come and take revenge, but he didn't encounter anything. Immortal Emperor Lin. Immortal Emperor Lin. Immortal Emperor Lin. At the mention of this name, great destruction gritted his teeth. He hated Lin Jiufeng. Don't give me a chance. Otherwise, I will let you know what cruelty is, great destruction gritted his teeth and said ruthlessly. Then, he returned to the spell realm with the main group. This journey of destruction in the mortal realm ended just like that. They said that they would overturn this era. The 7 races of the ancient age really did it. But a large number of people in this era were still alive. In the previous eras, the 7 races of the ancient age didn't let the common people off. And for those eras, the cultivators in the mortal realm were all extremely powerful. They were far better than the 2 or 3 big cats in this current mortal realm. But the powerful eras were forcefully suppressed by the 7 races of the ancient age. Yet, the seemingly weak mortal realm gained a chance of survival. Sometimes, fate loved to joke. After returning to the spell realm, the Great Destruction immediately ordered to mobilize all the resources to find the whereabouts of Lin Jiufeng. He had promised his big brother that he would find Lin Jiufeng in the Death Realm. Lin Jiufeng, who was frantically searched for by the entire 7 races of the ancient age, stayed in the Death Realm and didn't go anywhere. The outside world was in an uproar. Lin Jiufeng knew that the 7 races of the ancient age were definitely searching for him frantically. The safest place was still the Death Realm. Hence, he cultivated in peace in the Death Realm and didn't go anywhere. Beside the Yin River in the Death Realm, Lin Jiufeng sat cross-legged and watched silently. In this mortal realm battle, he was in the limelight. His strength could be said to be crushing those at the Immortal Emperor realm. But Lin Jiufeng wasn't happy. Even when he was at the Immortal Emperor realm, he could only withstand one move from a King Lord. The gap between the two was like the difference between clouds and mud. Lin Jiufeng wanted to break through to the King realm. He was quietly cultivating. The crystal divine kingdoms in his body were burning excitedly, frantically deducing the path that Lin Jiufeng was about to take. The surrounding heaven and earth energy surged into Lin Jiufeng's body and was frantically consumed. The Tao of the epoch that Lin Jiufeng comprehended himself was also rapidly exerting its power. The Tao of the epoch transformed into the Book of the Epoch. All the cultivation techniques that he had cultivated had been transformed into talismans that were pasted onto the Book of the Epoch. Opening the Book of the Epoch, the histories of different civilizations were written on each page. There were those from the God race, the Immortal Court, the Formation Realm, the Spell Realm, and also the current mortal realm. Lin Jiufeng wrote all the things that he had comprehended in the Book of the Epoch. As he continued to add them, the Book of the Epoch became increasingly vast. The history of the various civilizations appeared one by one. Lin Jiufeng continued to comprehend and write down what he had comprehended. The civilization of Buddha. The civilization of the dragon race. The civilization of the human race. The civilization of the witch race. The civilization of the barbarians. The civilization of the magic treasures. As Lin Jiufeng continued to comprehend the Tao, the crystal divine kingdoms in his body constantly deduced the future path of his cultivation. The history of various civilizations appeared in the Book of the Epoch. With the appearance of these civilizations, Lin Jiufeng's strength and realm increased instantly. Cultivation was timeless. Lin Jiufeng improved himself peacefully in the Death Realm. In the Spell Realm, Great Destruction searched for traces of Lin Jiufeng in exasperation. Damn it, where exactly are you hiding? Don't tell me you've been hiding in the Death Realm all this time? Great Destruction couldn't find any traces of Lin Jiufeng for a long time. He was a little anxious. Chapter 455 50 years beside the Yin River, Lin Jiufeng continued to comprehend the Tao and cultivate, forgetting the years and months. Time washed over his body like water, also changing the Death Realm. The former death realm was gloomy and filled with bones. There was a pale yellow death energy lingering in the mountains. With the arrival of the people of the mortal realm, construction began. Under Emperor Di's command, cities rose from the ground one after another. Wasteland after wasteland was cultivated into farmland and planted seeds. Previously, the land of the Death Realm wasn't planted, so it was extremely fertile and was very suitable for planting various crops, vegetables, and fruits. People cultivated diligently as they planted various things. From the royal families to the common people, everyone could come into contact with various cultivation techniques. During this period of time, there was no conflict or killing in the Death Realm. There was only silent cultivation. Everyone knew that they were a group of refugees. Although they lived very well in the Death Realm, they were essentially a group of refugees that had been driven away. No one was willing to be a refugee. Everyone missed their hometowns, so no one would give up the opportunity to cultivate and improve themselves. Everyone had the thought of returning to their hometown. It was the 9th month of the lunar year, the start of autumn. The remaining red had yet to disappear, and birds were singing. Because of the hard work of the people of the mortal realm, the Death Realm gained a sense of warmth and a lesser sense of gloominess. The autumn sun was very dazzling. It landed on Lin Jiufeng's body, causing his eyelids to twitch slightly. He had woken up from his long seclusion. How much time has passed? Lin Jiufeng moved his neck and asked softly. There was no response from around him, and he didn't need anyone to respond. He just asked out of habit. Then, Lin Jiufeng got up and stretched his stiff limbs that had been meditating for a long time. He looked into the distance. At the intersection of the sky and earth in the distance, smoke curled up. Farmland, water, families, roads, and dogs formed a harmonious scene. If one didn't say that this was the Death Realm, no one would have thought that previously, this place was covered in bones, the death energy was dense, and it was eerie and terrifying. It's developing well, Lin Jiufeng said in satisfaction. Taking away all the people of the mortal realm was an unprecedented matter in itself. Now that he saw that they were living a good life, Lin Jiufeng felt that he didn't do anything wrong. At the very least, they survived. With them around, this era wouldn't be considered destroyed. Lin Jiufeng raised his head and looked into the depths of the sky. Over there, he seemed to have seen the 7 races of the ancient age. The battle between us has just begun. The corner of Lin Jiufeng's mouth curled up. He was very confident. Previously, because he wanted to protect the mortal realm, Lin Jiufeng had to face the threat of the 7 races of the ancient age head-on. The situation was different now. The mortal realm had already been destroyed, so Lin Jiufeng didn't have to worry about anything else. He could attack the 7 races of the ancient age once he left the Death Realm. It's just a pity that I still haven't broken through to the King Lord realm after this seclusion. Lin Jiufeng sighed. He was working hard in his cultivation. He comprehended the great Tao of the epic and purified the crystal divine kingdoms in his body. He comprehended the Tao by the Yin River and did everything he could, but he was still quite far from the King Realm. As expected, the King Realm is definitely different from the immortal King Realm. I still need to accumulate more strength if I want a breakthrough, Lin Jiufeng muttered to himself. Do you want to sign in before the Yin River? A long-lost sign-in message appeared before Lin Jiufeng's eyes. Sign in. Lin Jiufeng said without hesitation. When cultivating, time passed very quickly. All these years, he had been immersed in comprehending. He didn't care about the changes in the outside world, and the chances of triggering the sign-in were also very few. He really wanted to know what he could sign in for after accumulating the opportunities from the passing of time. Sign-in successful. Congratulations, host, for obtaining the undying substance. Lin Jiufeng raised his brows. He wasn't unfamiliar with this thing. The undying substance was something unique to the Death Realm. It was like the coordinates of the Death Realm. If one wanted to return after leaving the Death Realm, they needed the undying substance to open the door of the Death Realm and then return from the Well of Heaven Ascension. But in the past, it was just in quantities of strands. Why didn't it say strand this time? Lin Jiufeng looked at it curiously. Previously, he could only sign in for 2 strands of undying matter at most. This time, it was the entire undying substance. Lin Jiufeng closed his eyes and received the information about the undying substance. He suddenly discovered that the undying substance he received this time was greatly different from before. The undying substance obtained this time was a complete one. In other words, after mastering this undying substance, Lin Jiufeng could open the door of the death realm at any time after he left. Then, he could enter the well of heaven ascension and return to the death realm. Good stuff. Lin Jiufeng was overjoyed. This was something very useful to him. He could harass the 7 races of the ancient age fearlessly. In any case, he had a way out. I should go and see how much time has passed. Lin Jiufeng got up and directly left the vicinity of the Yin River, heading for the place where humans gathered at the intersection of the sky and earth in the distance. He didn't alert anyone. He watched as the common people lived and worked in peace. They worked and cultivated while reproducing. Lin Jiufeng watched silently. No one could discover him. He walked past the mountains, the gardens, the cities, and finally entered the new city gate of the Unrivalled God Dynasty. These city gates were built by Emperor Day and the various powerhouses of the civil and military officials. They were very busy dealing with various political affairs here. Lin Jiufeng stood outside the palace and looked at Emperor Day. He was very diligent and worked tirelessly. He reviewed various memorials and discussed the subsequent development with the civil and military officials. The new city was also quite prosperous. Lin Jiufeng sat down in a tea shop by the side of the road and listened to the discussions of the common people silently. He heard the conversation of the 2 old people at the next table. It has been 50 years since we came to the death realm from the mortal realm. We have developed quite well in these 50 years. This is thanks to Emperor Da's leadership. Cultivators from all walks of life are also working hard to help. There are hundreds of cities built by the Unrivalled God Dynasty and tens of thousands of various villages. The common people are cultivating the land and reproducing. The population has also returned to the peak of the mortal realm. That's right. There was no war, no killing. There was only rapid development and expansion. Such a beautiful world was actually born in the death realm. I have to say that the world is unpredictable. The most powerful one is still great Emperor Jiufeng. Back then, if he didn't withstand the pressure of the 7 races of the ancient age and brought us all to this world, I'm afraid that our era would have been completely wiped out. That's right. Now that all sorts of documents and histories are completely open to everyone has finally understood that so many magnificent things have